It's no secret I'm a big fan of Resident Evil, specifically number 4, but I wanted to take it a step further and create my first deep dive into the series. Leon's story in Spain is much more complex than what most might think. Small details such as the type of gun someone may use, towards greater mysteries including the Los Iluminados themselves, with their rich history taking place long before the events of the main story. Beware to those who find niche facts and observations boring, because this video is going to be full of them.
Then come, Sancho Panza! Let us rescue the Princess Dulcinea!
You're gonna hurt yourself.
Hey, that was my lance.
Before moving an inch, we're greeted with this harrowing maw of a menu screen. Little can be seen except for what appears to be an endless black hole of foliage that fits well with Leon's first few steps into the rural region of Valdelobos. This first opening cutscene makes the truck driver intro from Resident Evil 2 look like a pharmaceutical infomercial. Right away, Capcom lays out that the vibe of RE4 is going to be dark, as we see this poor soul eviscerated into a pool of crimson. This is also our first look at an eerie symbol on her face painted in blood. Be prepared to see this a lot more. A flashback is shown, Leon's first encounter in the Resident Evil universe. Just an earnest, naive rookie in the American town of Raccoon City. The stakes are higher, the pressure is insurmountable, but this isn't the Leon we knew from 1998.
Missions nearly killed me, but at least I kept my mind off everything.
We identify our target, Ashley Graham, the president's daughter. It's unclear who's exactly in the picture with her, but I assume it's a friend as we know little about her mother. Our two companions are police officers from the regional municipality. I remember there being a stink about the voice actor choice because they weren't native Spaniards. They discuss how disappearances have been going on for a while, including mention of hikers, who undoubtedly were the poor souls killed in the very first cutscene.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, just between us. A lot of people have gone missing around here. And it's been that way for a while now.
The younger cop smoking a pack of cigs is using the exact same brand as a well-loved character from the DLC. I wonder if there's a monopoly on tobacco in Spain, or it's simply popular.
Nature calls, huh? I'll be right back.
Our smug police amigo has gone on a walkabout, so it's our job to find him. Before that, let's do a 180 and see what we can uncover back at the car. Surprisingly, the younger cop has fallen asleep within literal seconds of us departing the vehicle. Not sure if they're putting Ambien in cigarettes, but this isn't exactly a relaxing locale to nap. Back on the trail, I love the design choice of having such a busy forest. All the branches and dead leaves make you feel uneasy. It's around dawn, but the sheer density of the foliage imitates a sense of midnight. A statue lies on the floor, but there's a defacement on the top, some type of symbol. The same one we saw on the hiker's head at the beginning of the game. A few feet away, I see some shoe prints in the mud. There's no dynamic footprints in RE4, so this undoubtedly must belong to the lost officer, who went on his very well thought out stroll. The first interactable is a stag on what looks like an offering slab. I'm no hunter, but this doesn't really look like an animal attack. Just up ahead, an icebreaker for the pool of interesting locations we'll be exploring in this game. The Hunter's Lodge, dark, rundown, with animal carcasses scattered about, shows that Valdelobos is in rough shape. Considering the area ahead of this one, I feel the environment designers at Capcom wanted to serve this up as an appetizer. Moving up to the front door, you can hear the wood under Leon's feet squeak after transitioning from the sunken mud. Audio design is a thankless job in game development, so we gotta respect it here.
Anyone home?
We've got a curio in the first room to our right. An eerie saying is written in blood, "Judgment is nigh." The other smaller engravings are hard to read, but I can slightly make out "Vilemos con tiempo." We will see in time.
Sorry to barge in like this.
Unlike Raccoon City, this guy seems harmless. So I understand why Leon wasn't ready to whip out his pistol on him. RE4 has more of a mysterious vibe than RE2 at the start. After that fight, Leon seems a lot more intense. Also, I like the slight jingle from the key after the face-flat roundhouse. This practically confirms Mario's death. It says National Police Corps, but then we learn in the mission briefing that the cops are of a local unit, so can someone be both national and local police in Spain? With the threat clear and present, we get to open up our goodie bag. To start, a combat knife, the same one Marvin gave us at RPD, though I swore that I broke it multiple times.
Now, you'll need this.
Second, our trusty pistol, a customized SG-09 9mm from the well-known gunsmith Kendo. His engraving can be seen on the slide. Lastly, a singular first aid spray. I thought Una Tilofa was a company name, but it's shonen, an African language, meaning you die for us. Gotta work on their branding.
Hey!
Guess we found Mario. Guy kinda had it coming. It's one thing to walk past the creepy gate, but then he decides to keep going after the deer carcass.
I read you. What's your situation? What the hell's going on?
Leon's an unhappy boy. 10 minutes into the mission and he's already confused and down 2 friends. Sound familiar?
What was that? No fucking way. This just keeps getting worse.
I love that Capcom threw a tougher early game enemy at us for our first fight. I'm already down to 2 bullets. Looks like we're not alone upstairs either. The smart thing would be to regroup at the car. Or not. This is the first moment we've seen human skulls. If only they had a couple of these lying around before the first encounter to give us a heads up. Huh? Huh?
Roos, this is Condor 1.
Hunnigan here. What's your sit rep?
The president's daughter, Baby Eagle. It's likely she's in this village.
Our intel was correct then. Well done.
Need a location on a nearby lake. She may have been taken there.
Copy that. I'll see what I can find.
In Hunnigan's background, there's the same photo of Ashley given to us in our mission briefing. You guys do have more than one photo of the president's daughter, right?
Hurry up.
Something's happened to the people here. My escorts are... Gotta go. Talk later. I'll let myself out.
Leon's starting to get a better idea of what's going on, but we've got a long way to go. This rickety bridge has a blood trail, as if someone was dragged. Not to mention the footprints. I think we know where the other cop went. I want to point out I'm using one and only one mod, the removal of yellow paint. It's meant to help new players, and no problem, but I absolutely despise that mechanic, so it's gone. I'm probably in the minority, but how do you feel about this? Our first batch of ammo. There's something so aesthetically pleasing about the ammo cartridges in this game. Distributed by Red Eagle Corps, remember that name. We find a bunch of coins, pesetas rather than euros. These are made mostly of silver, even though they have the gold casing around them. Spain adopted the euro formally in 1999, 5 years before the events of this story. Just shows how cut off this region is from the rest of the world. A few villager noobs later and we arrive at this ominous gate. Seems like the locals are trying a bit hard with this one. Do they have to use a ladder to get up there, or? But beyond these doors is a baptism by fire in the world of Resident Evil, the village. The young cop got the short end of the stick with his death. It's hard to say, but I suspect that the bloody path on the previous bridge was his body being dragged to this very spot. And no, there's no actual way to save him from this. Not that he'd be much help. There's not really a way to sneak around the village for long. Best to just rip off the band-aid and get into it. Here we get our first look at a special enemy, Chainsaw Man.
You gotta be kidding me.
Yes, that's actually his name. Well, in RE4 Vanilla, he was coined as Dr. Salvador by the localization department, but according to the 512-page guidebook from Koichi Hamamura, he is simply referred to as Chainsaw Man. Compared with his concept art, they added a shit ton of blood to his outfit and increased the holes in his headpiece. I'm a bit disappointed that the remake didn't go into more detail on the origins of this burly fellow. Some say he's the village surgeon who used a chainsaw as a would-be scalpel, which actually kind of makes sense. At 6'5" or 200 centimeters, even a tuned-up shotgun might not stagger him. Best keep your distance. Speaking of shotguns, Leon may like the 12 gauge, but I think it's absolute ass. Unless you're practicing dentistry with it, then you'll never one-shot even the most basic enemies. The village intro is probably the hardest opening to a Resident Evil game I can think of. There's a reason that Capcom used this area for the demo pre-release, and it was to showcase how pitifully prepared Leon is for the swarm of enemies every 5 feet. When you do finish though, you get the first taste of Leon's extensive phrase book.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
Hunnigan, our support agent, gives us a lead on where Ashley might be held.
Routes to Condor 1. I've identified a route to the lake. Look for a large windmill. There's a path on the far side of it.
Windmill. Copy that.
And be careful. Roost out.
First though, let's take a look around. There are many aspects of RE4 that I love, and gemstones are no exception. Finding your first batch of gems and slotting them into a gorgeous piece of treasure fires up my dopamine receptors so hard. There were plenty of books around the village, so it's clear that the villagers themselves are able to read. But one book has stood out to me. This red one with an all too familiar insignia. In fact, you can find that symbol on just about anything from necklaces to tapestries. It's kind of like an airport gift shop, except the scariest thing isn't the price for once.
There it is.
At the windmill, our mysteries keep piling up. There's a giant animal carcass pile on display. If the villagers have stopped caring for their livestock, then what exactly are they eating for food? I struggle to think of another game that uses dynamic treasures. Most times you open a chest or whatever and bam, your big shiny valuable. But here, this pretty necklace could become a stinky pile of dung if you're not careful.
Well, that stinks.
I've spoken about the audio design before, but I'll praise it once more. The echo from this villager moaning in the bar sounds totally realistic. It's little things like that which set the tone for deep immersion.
Won't open.
Looks like the door is locked. There's a long way around, but what about that open window? A quick aim and boom. I love Capcom for leaving shortcuts that one may not notice on their first playthrough. It really adds to the replayability.
God damn.
Ah, lovely. Our first encounter with a difficult early game enemy, the Brute. Specifically the hammer-wielding one. I guess we know where those cowheads went to. With more health than villagers, they can be tricky to deal with. There is a silver lining though, friendly fire. A few swings with the hammer can save you some precious ammo. Only some attacks work though.
Present for you.
Velvet Blues, the only gem that can't be put into treasures. Why? Well, it's raw and uncut. Sorry. Picked up our first Gry herb. This bad boy sells for 10k pesetas even on professional. 20k if you get a certain charm. Always thought the mixture looked like a vial of confetti ready to explode. We've killed enough crazies to know that all the wriggling inside isn't exactly normal. I think that Leon would have commented about this, but golden retriever tunnel vision and all.
We'll stay and watch that car. Don't want to get any parking tickets.
Right. Parking tickets.
With all the enemies cleared out, time to look at this pamphlet on the wall. Pétition officielle. Sounds so much better than request. We've got some blue medallions to destroy. Easy enough. Hearing that ching noise when you shoot one is, very nice. A short walk across the bridge and we've arrived at the villa. No going inside right now, but there's an area in the back that I feel was a part of some cut content. Just feels so empty, especially with the cable cars and chopped trees that seem like unique placeholders.
Give me a break.
Compared to the boulder scene in RE4 Original, these rocks are a bit of a disappointment. I think Capcom wanted to get away from the button-mashing QTE craze of the 2000s. A few steps through the Batman tunnel and we're at the lakeside settlement. In the concept art, there might have been vultures feeding on the sea of carcasses in the water and across its shoreline. Also, the lake is very red. It kind of reminds me of something from Bloodborne. I imagine the creative team decided to make the final product a bit more realistic. That isn't to say they went easy on the corpses though, as dead fish litter this area of the lake. The enemies in this area start using dynamite. Our gear is quite bluntly trash. Using tripwires and bear traps to your advantage is the way to go. Near the shore, we can see the first sighting of Castle Salazar. Pretty neat that it's only chapter 1 and we're getting glimpses of a section all the way in chapter 7.
This the place?
Entering this cozy abode, we find a picture of a man and a boy. There's no names, but you can see a wide variety of science equipment on the table next to it, and a familiar looking carrying case.
That hurts, you know.
Seemed like you really wanted to talk.
How observant, senor. Now, say, you got a smoke?
You know, those things will kill you.
Oh, well, maybe just untie me then, huh? Joder, not this guy.
Who are you? Yeah, stop right there.
Chapter 1's in the bag. Not trying to throw shade on Hunnigan, but she shared some atrocious intel. Now Leon's stuck in the belly of the beast. At least he's got a friend.
Sacrificial lamb. You will receive our most sacred body. It begins now.
Oh, what the fuck?
Hey, stop it. Hey, Yankee. Got a name?
Luis calling Leon Yankee is pretty funny considering that Mario, the now deceased cop, called him the same thing at the beginning of chapter 1.
So tell me, Yankee, why did you come to this horrible place?
What gives us away? Is it the New England accent?
Leon.
Quiet type, eh? I'm Luis Serra. Guess you, me, picked the wrong spot to vacation, eh? Hey! Stop it! You move, I move. You're here looking for someone? One more guess. Maybe some missing señorita?
Young girl? Talk. Now.
All right. See, heard chatter about moving a señorita.
Moving her. Where?
Who knows? But later, saw some men dragging someone to the old church.
So we've got a lead now. Thanks, Luis. He's definitely one of my favorite characters in the remake, and that wasn't the case in the original.
Hanging with you, not healthy.
Hey, we're not done here!
Later, amigo.
I always found this confusing. Why did that random-ass guard have the key to our chains? We seem like important prisoners considering our body count.
Shit, they took my gear.
Hope you enjoyed that brown leather jacket, Leon. We got a whopping 1 chapter to wear it. Over to the right, we can see the syringe we were injected with. Kind of a funky design to it.
Condor 1 to Roost. I've located Baby Eagle. It sounds like she's being kept in some church.
Great. That's good news.
I heard it from this guy I met. Said his name is Luis Serra. There's something fishy about him. I need you to run a background check.
We'll call Condor 1. I'll see what I can find. In the meantime, make your way to that church.
Right. I'm probably due for confession anyway. Condor 1, out.
We all feel the same way, Hunnigan. This basement they tied us up in is a step down from the concept art. Yeah, it's just as dreary, but at least they gave us some light. Considering there are windows down here, I think this may have originally been above ground. Not sure if Luis was the one to take this guy out, or maybe Mendez got a bit mad. Free knife though, so that's cool. We enter the factory where our gear is being held.
Hey, that's my gear.
Before that, we've got to use some parrying tricks to deal with these villagers.
Not bad, right?
Some animations are much easier than others to parry. Pitchforks come to mind as a particularly frustrating one.
Out of the way.
Capcom's awfully cheeky with the bear trap placement. Just turn this wheel and we are good to go. Doesn't seem too smart that they put our weapons like 10 feet away from us, considering how many people we've killed.
Over here, stranger.
Who's that?
Nice to see our purple friend for the first time. I'll unload my loot for some juicy coin, but why does he even deal in pesetas? Can't imagine there's much of an economy for them now that the Spaniards use the euro. Righto, another merchant request. They're more or less divided into 3 things. Kill enemy, kill rat, shoot medallion, or find something. Either way, Leon's a fan.
Yes.
With the quest done, it's time to upgrade our arsenal. Oh yeah. This here's a real weapon, stranger. The SR M1903 with its 24-inch barrel, 30-06 caliber bullets, and a fuck ton of enemy killing power. Likely my favorite weapon in the game for good reason. There's no better feeling than lining up a shot and seeing tomato splatter fill the air. Lest we forget the Punisher. It costs spinels to buy from the merchant, but well worth it in my eyes. Get yourself a laser sight attachment and shoot through up to 5 baddies with 1 bullet.
The hell am I?
We're now approaching the valley, or most like to call it Dynamite Town. This is easily in the top 3 for most dangerous areas. Dynamite, red barrels, and endless pits are par for the course around here. Still, you can use that to your advantage with a few well-timed kicks.
Out of the way.
+1 to the devs for having decent collision detection. Lots of games get lazy and you wouldn't be able to shoot through this gap. The wind effects are a bit exaggerated, but better too much than too little considering this is a giant air tunnel. I feel there's a missed opportunity for the bridge to break off with enough sway though. Picking up the puzzle piece, it's best to just run for the wheel and take off. One unlucky throw and you're back to the last save. I think it would have been nice to expand this area a bit. Let us climb the ladders and walk across the windy catwalks, even if it was only for a treasure or 2. Still, it's a jolt of excitement after the break we had from Village. Time for another weapon.
Ooh, you have the stench of battle on you, mate. Not only will you need cash, but you'll need guts to buy that weapon.
Oh, the bolt thrower. As the merchant says, you need both money and guts to own this piece. To be fair, the mine attachments have some niche use in a few of the defensive areas, but I won't be using this one too often. Slot in that eagle doohickey and we fight our way through this scrapyard. I like to keep the bear traps untouched for an upcoming fight. Coming up onto this creepy sacrificial area. What a familiar symbol and slab. We saw another like this in the opening cutscene with those pitiful hitchhikers. I count 5 skulls on the pedestal. Are these all unwilling forasteros or someone else? Ah, Mr. Chainsaw Man, again. Hope you kept those bear traps because you can technically kill him without firing off a single bullet. Well, maybe 1 bullet.
Not too shabby. Someone has shown up their neighbors.
Well said, Leon. The village chief's got some nice digs. No collapsed roofs or holes in the wall. Pretty big change from the usual buildings we've seen. Can't say I'm a huge fan of this wallpaper choice, though. In fact, if I didn't know better, this looks like a hit list for the villagers living around Valdalobos. Very suspicious. Wait, haven't we seen this outfit before? Walking upstairs, we get our first piece of Iluminados Gospel. Iluminados 4-3. Nice art style. Not so much sold on the whole giving away my newborn child type of thing. I guess that explains why there's not a single adolescent to be seen around here. It does help us complete the lock puzzle, so that's awfully nice of them. Into the bedroom, we've got even more lore. RE4 does have a tendency to dump these in certain areas of the story. So leaders of the village gathered and held their own little reaping on the orders of Lord Sadler. This increased exponentially as the days went by. Before this, it looks as if food supplies were dwindling, so throw starvation into the mix and, well, one less mouth to feed. Next to the book, there's one of those portrait necklaces. Doesn't this fellow look completely trustworthy? We'll pull this poorly hidden lever down for a later time.
Accepted the gift.
In RE4 Original, Mendez jumped through the window after Ada. Maybe he's feeling a little less agile in this one. Wait, no, I get it now.
Gift? My blood?
Leon feeling dumbfounded as ever. That wraps up chapter 2. Not too bad in terms of difficulty, and we learned some new tidbits all the same. Mendez made a comment about the blood accepting the gift. Oh, would you look at that? Leon's eyes are a bit bloodshot. Little details.
Bruce to Condor 1, I've got that intel you requested on Luis Serra. It seems he used to be a researcher for Umbrella.
Umbrella? I should have left him in that bag to rot.
I'm sending you the details. Take a look, but Baby Eagle is your priority.
Copy that. Making my way to the church. Condor 1, out.
You know, at this point, Hunnigan should know better to put a trigger warning on the U word for Leon. Let's take a look at that Luis file. Have to agree with Hunnigan on this one. He doesn't seem like the guy who researches a new variant of Tums. Based on the lighting, the sun goes down super quickly in Valdalobos. Big change from chapter 2.
You too, huh?
Only psychopaths and speedrunners refuse to save this dog. Why the latter? Let's just say he does more harm than good in a very specific context. Side note, Leon is most certainly a dog person.
Take care of yourself, buddy.
Before moving on, I like to revisit old areas at different times of the day. Factory looks a lot spookier during sunset. Same can be said for Dynamite Town, though I think there was a missed opportunity here from Capcom to add some new enemy encounters. Leon isn't a very good agent for getting so sidetracked. Let's move on. That scout almost got away. Close one. Actually, it doesn't change anything if you kill that guy. Kinda lame. Time to meet a new enemy. These dogs, known as colmillos, are pretty horrifying. Capcom went all out with the teeth placement. It could be my imagination, but I feel the more of them there are, the more aggressive they are with their AI. Either way, I love shotgunning these little mutts. There's two ways to move on. The boring house route, or the slimy underground passage meant for cool players. Sometimes the villager vision cone is a bit off. Someone turned on the fog machine in this room, but seriously, there's some eerie connotations with what may have happened here. This has got to be the room where the patriarchs dished out their reaping, as reference to Iluminados Village Records Volume 3. Pile of skulls? Check. Shrine of Lord Sadler? Check. Even bits of dry blood lather the carpet. This actually might be one of the most cursed rooms in the game, and that says a lot. Hey, wait. There's another portrait necklace here of Sadler. Nobody tell Mendez. More of that sweet Illuminados gospel. This reads like a success story among many failures. It doesn't take a farmer to know that such an amount of weed and livestock is kind of unsustainable. This may explain all the tattered skulls in this room. A graveyard of abandoned souls tossed aside only for the lucky chosen to be an overgrown beast. Or in less poetic terms, these are all failed experiments in hopes of making a big one.
Got some new wares, stranger. You're in for a treat. Ho ho! You cut through the crowd with that right there.
Ah, the trusty TMP. I actually wasn't much into this 9mm SMG for my first few playthroughs, but using it as a very ammo-efficient stun tool changed my view. Never buy the stock though. It costs precious spinels and takes up a stupid amount of space for not much improvement. A fresh request from our capitalist comrade. He wants us to find some vipers for a dear friend. Never took the merchant for a cat person.
A church. I made it.
The graveyard slash church is a bit smaller in the remake compared to the original, but I still think it looks great. Though I do miss the puzzle behind the church. I was curious about the names on the gravestones, so I checked them all. Capcom got lazy and used the same text for most of the graves, including the name of the deceased. Even the ones tied to the unspeakable twins. Speaking of which, quick knife slash and cha-ching, easy spinners.
Damn it.
Condor 1 to roost. The church is sealed up.
And Baby Eagle?
Negative. Nothing yet. But they sure do have this place locked up tight.
I see. I can think of one reason they'd want to do so.
Oh, she's here. That's for sure. I'll find a way in. Condor 1, out.
Did Leon really think he could shake those bars open? There are more important things than that though. Like these majestic tombs that make the plebeian graves look pathetic. If the engravings are anything to go by, these have got to be at least a few hundred years old. Respect to those who were buried with their pets. Nice. Isn't this the exact same photo of Ashley from the Hunter's Lodge? What is with this girl only having like 2 photos?
Lake. Let's hope for no more surprises.
Salamander del Lago. I'm thinking that's not a giant coffee stain. The next couple areas are Limestone City. It would be fun if there was an insta-kill threat from falling off the side, though I'm not sure too many players would appreciate that. Always admired how different areas in separate chapters connect themselves into the gameplay. See that treasure over there? We'll shoot it down, but we can't collect it until the next chapter. I spy with my little eye another merchant request, next to a giant-sized hammer.
Good luck finding someone big enough to use this thing.
Surely this is just for decoration. Obviously not, but what kind of nails did you need a hammer this big for in the first place? I think we also know where all the wood went from that forest in Chapter 1. A bit archaic, but it gets the job done. Ah, murder of crows. There's only one remedy for this. And it's not a ginger-haired wildling. I think my dad's asleep in there.
I see you took care of a request. Well done.
There are enough weapons here to get a party going.
That sounds like my type of party, Leon. But the RPG isn't just for show. The next chapter is the first point Mr. Merchant begins selling that bad boy. I don't appreciate the ammo teasing though. Or Grandma's noodles for that matter. Special agents get hungry too.
Delicious.
Mr. Merchant opened the gun range at least. My theory on these gun ranges is that 1, the Merchant is an interdimensional time traveler, and 2, these are pocket universes set up for our enjoyment. Or, you know, he's putting all his pesetas into building these out to satiate his pirate killing fetish. Completing these fun games gives you coins to spend on case charms. Non sine polvere palma. It's an old Latin saying for no palm without dust. Yeah, I googled it. The charms are neat though. Sometimes you get amazing buffs. Others, not so great. Considering we know that one of the cops was burned to death, that must have been Mario's body. Though, why did they cut the head off before tossing it into the lake? His throat was slit back in the Hunter's Lodge, but it didn't look decapitated.
What the hell was that?
For the curious, this is what happens when you try to shoot the villagers off their boat. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Still working on that blue medallion quest. Gotta say that Capcom was awfully sneaky with some of the medallion placements. And this isn't even the hardest one. Off to the stinky fish farm to pick up some gasoline. The fish farm is probably one of my favorite areas in Valdelobos. It looks like a scene straight out of a Miyazaki game, not to mention a healthy dose of verticality by way of the catwalks and swampy lowlands. Enemies in here aren't too bad. If anything, it's a nice opportunity to farm snakes for when you need health later on. Shooting arrows mid-air never gets old. Straight out of the Matrix.
This is what I'm talking about.
Now that we're done with the fish farm, it's time for a trip across the lake. The giveaway for Leon should have been the giant harpoons in the boat. What kind of fish are they catching with those? Yep, definitely not a coffee stain. Del Lago is one of the few fights where it gets worse as time goes on. If you can't kill him before he gets into his jumpy phase, then he recovers a shit ton of health. That killed a lot of my speedruns. Also, if it wasn't obvious, Del Lago is a salamander. It looks like the concept art originally wanted him to have red eyes, but I guess that may have been too scary? It's hard to say. It's actually really hard to see his eyes. It's very, very tiny. Also, somebody put so much work into designing the teeth. Set of teeth, in a set of teeth, in a set of teeth. He's got a big mouth on him after all. That ends chapter 3. Not sure if you could call Del Lago a boss fight, but thinking about it, we really are spoiled when it comes to how many different unique fights there are in RE4.
Sacrificial lamb, you will receive our most sacred body. It begins now. When day breaks, you two will join our covenant to share in my holy blessing forever.
Man, I still find that scene disturbing. It's the voice acting that does it for me. RE4 Original's got a different take on it, but just as creepy.
Condor 1 to Roost. Do you read me?
Condor 1? You've been radio silent for 3 hours. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Won't let it happen again.
And the church?
I'm still looking for whatever key I need.
Copy that. I'm glad you're okay. Roost out.
Damn, Hunnigan, that was a strong reaction. To be fair, we all feel the same way about Leon.
Won't be going anywhere in this thing.
Not exactly sure how our boat started sinking, given that it looked just fine in the cutscene a few seconds ago. In the fisherman's shack, there's some type of restraining / torture device, not to mention a police cap and splatter of blood. This might have been where Mario's body was decapitated by the villagers after his death. Seems awfully bloody just for decapitation, especially given that his head was already sliced from the Hunter's Lodge. Either way, we still don't know where Mario's head is, but it's interesting that this might be a police officer we didn't meet, and shows that they've been abducted in Valdalobos before. Ah, goody. Time for the next stage of the parasite. I actually find this form more obnoxious to deal with than the next stage due to all the flailing about they do. We'll be seeing these guys a lot more as the rest of the story takes place at night, when they're most comfortable exposing themselves. With those creeps out of the way, time to move on. Another cultist sacrificial site. What are we at now? 4 or 5 so far? No skulls this time around. Guess it's just for show. Pulling out my scope, we can see the villagers in real time over at the lakeside settlement. Pretty impressive that everything is rendered to pull this off. It still baffles me that the RE games run so well and yet others... Well, let's leave it at that. Walking into this spooky tunnel, there's some art on the wall.
What is this place?
These cave paintings depict a decapitation. Say that 3 times fast. How peculiar given that Mario suffered a similar fate.
Some kind of shrine.
It looks like they're offering the head to this entity.
Same mark from the church. Is this the key?
Maybe all these skulls and wrapped up heads are past offerings? Mario could be in here for all we know.
It's the lake.
Yes, it is, Leon. More importantly, these 2 parts have the decapitated head symbol. Kind of a stretch, but they may have taken Mario's head and put it in one of those places. Another request before a boat ride. A golden egg. I have another use for one of these rather than selling it to Mr. Merchant. Quick little boat ride and we picked up that treasure from the last chapter. Nice. Off to the big ass boat in the middle of the lake where we'll find the Red 9. A 9mm pistol powerhouse that was one of my go-to guns in the original. Not so much in the remake. Just feels, I don't know, kinda neutered. The design is great though. Reminds me of the gun Ava used in Metal Gear Solid 3.
Mauser military. The broom handle.
It packs quite a punch. Nice to have when you're on a bike.
Next up, Chicken Island. This may seem like a meme design choice by the devs, but being surrounded by water and sharp rocks is probably good for livestock protection, right? I'm thinking way too much into this.
I'll be taking this.
We'll need that for an annoying boss later. We should probably pick up the heads with all this stalling. Actually, before that, let's take a trip to the lakeside settlement and look at the new areas. The fishing village's spook factor goes up tenfold at night. Unfortunately, you can't go back towards the boulder area. Returning to the area we were abducted in Chapter 1, there's a journal. It's written by an old man who talks about his grandson. The child is intellectually gifted and has a passion for Don Quixote. Unfortunately, the old man suffers a blow from a wolf during a hunting trip and begins suffering from voices in his head and a lack of control in his body. Fair to say that this was Luis's grandfather, and thus meaning that Luis was born here in Valdalobos. The extra proof being that Luis's personal report writes that his birth certificate and prior whereabouts to university life are completely unknown. As well, after Umbrella caught the law's attention in Raccoon City, it kinda makes sense for him to retreat to a middle of nowhere place like Valdalobos. I actually think a more important tidbit is that the grandfather started to experience symptoms of the parasite from a wolf bite, but this was long before the village was infected. So does that mean the wildlife were infected first? The question is why and how. Super intriguing stuff though. And there's even more lore around here now that we have the key for this gate. Right away, there's another merchant request. Ah, the Lunker Bass. That's a big boy. Pretty obvious where he is based on the background. Deeper inside, we get some insight into the missing hikers from the opening cutscene. Hard to say how she died, but unlike Mario, she wasn't decapitated. Strange.
What the hell is going on here?
A different story for a friend higher up who was cut open by the axe-wielding cultist from earlier. Again, no decapitation, just like the one downstairs. I noticed to the side there's a carriage holding what I imagine to be the hiker's luggage. There's 2 pairs of shoes in the basket, but both dead hikers have their kicks on, so either they have had more than one pair, which is realistically the likely scenario, or there's more hikers out here we haven't found yet. Originally, I think Capcom wanted Ashley to be friends with the hikers, like a European vacation sort of thing based on this concept art. I'm glad they didn't go through with that because it's a bit overdone. The only issue with exploring here is you have to deal with some colmillos on the way out.
Oh, you're kidding me.
This scripted scene with the colmillos seems like a sign given that it's so close to Grandpa Navarro's shack. Could one of these have been the wolf that lunged at him? I think we stalled enough. Let's pick up the heads real quick. The small shrine is easy enough with 0 enemies. Taking off the gargoyle head leaves a blood trail. Does that mean someone's head is inside the stone? I really don't know. The next area is not as simple. In fact, this whole cavern is pretty horrible. There might be 25 enemies, including dynamite throwers with little ammo. Same situation with the gargoyle heads. Slot in the heads and we've got the church insignia.
Condor 1 to Roost. I found the key to the church.
Copy that. Now go get Baby Eagle.
Right. No time to chat. I'm going in. Condor 1 out.
You heard the man. Time to save Ashley. After we hunt this lunker bass. Hey, big fella. And spare a moment for me to fail at this puzzle. I say this with the utmost respect, but I find this puzzle to be hot garbage. If there was a reset button, then I'd likely finish it, but I really can't be bothered.
Might want to take care of any leftover errands before going this way. Be ashamed to live the rest of your life wondering, what if?
The subtle way of saying, we won't be coming back here to complete quest. Thanks, Mr. Merchant. As expected, he's also selling the rocket launcher. Seems a bit extreme to buy it for the upcoming fight.
Shit.
Jesus Christ!
Whoa! God damn it, big boy.
Guess we know who the villagers were making those clothes for. El Gigante. Pretty lackluster fight if you ask me. It can be a bit tricky to shoot the flailing parasite in his back, but once you do, it's usually game over.
Hey, it's that dog.
Remember how I talked about that dog doing more harm than good? During this cutscene, he actually ends up healing El Gigante, which is avoidable if you leave him to rot in the bear trap. But I'm not a psychopath, so of course we saved him.
That's what I'm talking about. Good boy. God damn. That was almost a pancake. Okay. Let's get to that church. Thanks, bud.
Just want to point out that the wolf helping us sort of reinforces my theory that Grandpa Navarro was bit by a parasite-infested dog, probably a colmillos, because based on the fact he helped Leon, they're pretty friendly.
Hey, it's that dog.
El Gigante's pen looks like a bloody graveyard. It makes sense with how they mentioned half a bull a day in that previous lore piece. I found a rearing log in the enclosure's corner. Not quite sure if this was a baby infected with the parasite and grew into this beast, or whatever the deal is, but pretty disturbing. This reads as if the villagers lost control of El Gigante and that cultist adorned in red was holding it under the mentioned incantation. Overall, one of, if not the easiest boss in the game. Not too shabby. With that done, we've defeated our first boss and it's time for the church.
Ashley Graham! I'm here to help!
I wonder what the fascination with purple is among Los Iluminados. Sadler's got purple in his portrait, there's purple flowers in the vase, purple curtains. Pretty redundant puzzle, all things considered, still very pretty.
Ashley! You in there? Ashley. Ashley Graham, are you in here?
Just let me go.
Listen. Easy with that. My name's Leon. I'm here in the president's orders and that went well.
I understand why Ashley was so distraught. Even with Leon practically babying her after entering the room, she hasn't had any contact with a friendly since being abducted in America. And at only 20 years old, the emotional immaturity probably doesn't help.
Hey, it's dangerous outside. You need to listen to me.
What is that? Over there?
Pursue them. The lost lambs are escaping.
Deliver unto them salvation.
I did not like that scene during my first playthrough. Granny turning around with that creepy ass grin. No thank you, sir. Chapter 4 all complete. Pretty lengthy, all things considered. And now the escort mission has begun.
Do?
Your father trusts me. And I need you to trust me too. And do exactly as I say. I'm gonna get you home safe.
Okay. Okay, Leon.
I do want to say that Ashley's voice actress did a really spectacular job with making her character a bit more serious. Not throwing shade on the original, of course. Just felt like a fresh take that was pulled off perfectly.
Ashley!
Don't come!
Hey, take it easy.
No! Get away!
These villager chants are pretty spooky. This one in particular is among my favorites, as they're saying, "Aprisa, aprisa, los cordilleros están escapando," meaning, hurry, hurry, the little lambs are escaping. Definitely some religious connotations with the wording choice.
Alright, let's get the hell out of here.
Okay.
Going back into the room Ashley was held, doesn't even look like she had a cot. If anything, she was using a stone brick for a pillow, and might even have been chained to this wall. Safe to say, a major step down for the president's daughter. Picking up Ashley's phone, we can see she was part of a sorority, Sigma Gamma Phi. I couldn't really find anything on a specific university, at least in DC, but if I had to guess, probably Georgetown. Also, this phone reminds me of my first phone from 2007, a Sony Ericsson. I still have that. Good keepsake.
Seriously? Just bought this.
Get the ladder.
Me? Okay.
Yep, you, Ashley. Fortunately, there's an abundance of professionally installed ladders around Valdilobos for us to use.
No way.
It's okay, I've got you.
First time being outside in the rain, I do have to make a criticism. This doesn't look right. The droplets are too thick or something. This is also on high rain quality, so not one of the RE Engine's strong suits. Chris Redfield is seething somewhere right now.
Roost, I've secured Baby Eagle.
Copy that. Is she okay?
Affirmative.
Well done, Condor 1. I'll dispatch a chopper ASAP. I'm sending you the coordinates for the extraction point. Make your way there, and don't let anything happen to Baby Eagle.
Hunnigan can be a little bit over the top with her facial animations. I never understood the LZ that she gave us, though. For whatever reason, it's by the villa we walked past in Chapter 1. I mean, there's sort of an open area, though, but not really. I always thought it would be safer to just backtrack towards the Hunter's Lodge and take the police car back, or have someone meet us there.
Like I said, it's dangerous. Stay close.
Okay.
Now that Ashley's with us, we can treat this as a prolonged escort quest. The usual stigma is that escort missions are horrible, but Capcom did a decent job with her AI not being too obnoxious or impetitive. I've never figured out a way to escape this area without alerting the villagers. During a speedrun, you just rush through the graveyard and hope for the best. Good Good example of why the flashbang is the most effective weapon in the game by a mile. I like that when we're shooting, Ashley behaves like a conjoined twin behind us by reacting to whatever we're doing. It's a nice little touch. We get our first super enemy quest, as I like to call them. There's 3 of them in total throughout the game, and I'd say only one near the final chapter is moderately difficult.
Hey, can we take a break?
Sorry, we need to keep moving.
Got it.
Even if we could take a break, would you really want to choose this room?
Hunnigan was right about the weather.
I decided to take Ashley through the tunnels this time, thinking it was a stealthy idea. Yeah, not at all, as evident by the swarming enemies.
Twisty son of a bitch.
Working our way through the village, the police officer's body is missing from the cross. They must have taken it somewhere, or maybe the fire burned away the skeleton into a pile. During chapter 1, when we entered the village gate, all the heads fell off. Going back there now, in chapter 5, it looks like they threw on some fresh heads. Dedicated decorators.
I need you to open it from the other side.
It's open.
I owe you one.
Teamwork makes the dream work, baby. First of many. Now, we could go straight to the LZ, but we'd miss out on delicious lore back in Mendez's place. I'm convinced Ashley's voice line that triggers here is testament to her annoyance.
I just want to go home. What is this place?
Time for more lore dumping. Starting with Village Records Volume 2, the predecessor to the Journal from the Bedroom. This journal from a previous village chief, likely Mendez's father, talks about Valdelobos entering a golden age, with the lake full of fish, a roaring ironworks, and plenty of trade with the outside world. But it would be short-lived, as there's mention of the Los Iluminados descending from the castle to the village. They injected some villagers with the promise of a cure to madness. I wonder why the villagers agreed to be injected in the first place, though? What does madness even mean in this context? Lying on the table is a picture of Mendez's father, the previous village chief. Very curiously, we can see the necklace he's wearing is the same insignia as the one from the church. Another picture, that of the ironworks. The timestamp says 1992, 12 years ago. Fair to say, based on this, that the second volume of the Village Records was in 1993. Now for the original volume of the Village Records. This reads as if it was written by a child or an adult learning grammar. The record mentions Grandpa Navarro and Luis, specifically about Grandpa's wolf bite and how his illness became progressively worse. More importantly, murmurs of a madness. This leads me to believe that Grandpa Navarro may have been patient zero for the parasite in the village. There's a lack of details, but Grandpa Navarro's cabin burned to the ground. It's hard to say if this was intentional from the villagers or an accident. Either way, Luis disappeared from Valdelobos at a very young age. This is the same photo as the one we found at Grandpa Navarro's cabin, but on the back, we learn it was taken in 1981. According to the mission briefing, Luis is 28 as of 2004, so this would make him 5 years old in the photo. I don't think that's too big a stretch. I mean, he looks like a 5-year-old. We're finished with Mendez's house for good, only to be greeted by the strong enemy Colmillos.
Hi there.
This guy's pretty quick and loves to dodge attacks, with a few high damaging ones of his own, but no match for an upgraded bolt action.
Target neutralized.
Comparing him to other Colmillos, he's got that pincer tentacle and glowing amber eyes. The distended ribs is a nice touch, gives off Blood Eagle vibes. This is the only area in the game where my FPS tends to shit the bed. It's kind of hilarious seeing how the rain is causing the FPS drop, and yet I also criticize the rain for looking like ass.
Seriously, this can't be happening.
Oh, it is happening, Ashley. And it's about to get worse, with a new type of brute, the unarmed variant. I just call them the Raging Bull. These guys are the rarest of the 3 types, but pretty easy if you can dodge their swings.
Ashley!
Unlike Ashley. Also, it seems like they can get cows on their side, too. A few close calls to the windmill area until we arrive at an instantly recognizable locale, the villa.
Hey! Over here!
You.
Hey, listen, about earlier.
Yeah, about that.
Hey, I see you found your missing señorita.
Señorita has a name and it's Ashley. You are?
Name's Luis. Encantado.
Great. We all have names.
Compared to Luis from the original, his manners have improved exponentially.
I see that the president's equipped his daughter with ballistics, too.
How rude! And I don't believe there's any relevance with my figure and my standing.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Very good questions, unfortunately.
Hide, now.
In that case, here, help me.
Ashley, quick! Over here. Go.
Okay, it's game time.
Hordes of them against two of us. Oh, and let's not forget, this mob is made up of monsters. You done warming up? Hope you're stretched.
Yeah. Now if you'd shut up, we'd be good to go.
Lighten up, you know.
Ah, the villa. This is one of the few areas that I think makes sense for the bolt thrower mines. Ideally, you take chunks out of the waves and get all the boards thrown up ASAP. Getting to the next stage with our ladder friends is dependent on the number of enemies you kill, so take advantage of the very convenient red barrels outside. Make sure to kill this bull guy quick for that juicy emerald. We won't be coming back here again.
Leon! This way, hurry!
If you're wondering where Ashley goes, that passage leads to the outside. She then takes this ladder upstairs to the door. Not sure why she took so long though, because as you can see, it's pretty close.
Ashley.
What's happening to me?
Ashley, is this the first time you've coughed on blood like this?
You want to start explaining?
The cough, the blood, is caused by something called plaga. You are, well, lucky. You see, at this early stage, the parasite, the plaga, it is possible to remove it with a surgical procedure. And all you need is some know-how. And oh yeah, the right equipment.
Wait, you two?
No worries. See, I have a plan. But you're going to have to trust me. Great, we're partners then.
Hey, why are you...
No time for any questions. The clock is ticking.
Why are you helping us?
Because it makes me feel better. Let's leave it at that.
Might be the 4th or 5th time I've said it, but Luis is so damn likable in the remake. I love that man.
I will contact you later.
Another chapter down. Lots of story exposition in that one, especially when you compare it to the action-packed chapter 4.
Hey, got a smoke?
I do. The kind you like. Now where's the amber?
Here marks Ada's first somewhat official appearance, if you don't count Mendez's house. There's plenty of commentary from others about the decision for a voice actress. I'll keep it short, but she has some genuinely good performance lines in the game. They just happen to start it with one of her worst ones.
Unfortunately, it's not on me at the moment. And you really should be telling me what a good job I did. Is why I'm still alive.
The deal was, we get you out of here when you deliver the amber. No amber, no protection, Luis.
Such a stickler for details, huh, Ada?
Seeing Luis's rings in this scene makes me wonder if the red gemstone ring we found at the area he was tied up was one of his.
Okay then. I'll go get it now, how about that? And I do have something else I need to get, too.
I think the two of them are germaphobes. Instant hand cleaning.
This is Roost. I've got some bad news, Condor One. With the weather like this, the chopper can't make its approach. Can you stand by until it clears?
Negative. Too dangerous. We're gonna get out of here and find someplace safe.
I'm sorry. I wish I could do more to help.
Don't worry about it. We'll swim home if we have to. Condor 1, out.
Speak for yourself, Leon. You think about what a plaga-infested shark might look like?
Let's go.
What's gonna happen to me?
Right now, let's just focus on getting out of here.
Yeah, right.
Alright, so the clock's ticking with Ashley and Leon being effective. At least I can start using the word plagas now. The next merchant stall begins selling a fantastic weapon, the riot gun.
That cash in your pocket, That there's a real boomstick, mate. It will reduce your target to a bloody pulp.
If the sawed-off was a 0, then this is a gajillion on the performance scale. I actually prefer this shotgun more than the next tier because the spread is just so damn tight. It doesn't even feel like a shotgun with the ridiculous accuracy. A note on the fence talks about the area ahead being an impenetrable fortress. Seems like a strong word, but yeah, it's a little bit daunting.
We've got company. Keep moving, but quietly. Got it?
Okay.
This is one of the few areas where you can get a sneak attack or two in to even the odds, but the numerous sentries will spot you pretty quick past a certain point.
Guess we're doing this.
Seems like a good time as ever to try out the new shotgun. I'd call that a successful display. Ashley's animation when Leon steps into a bear trap is pretty realistic. Sort of strange that he doesn't lose health in doing so. Might have been a good addition for only professional. This limestone pit looks like an arena. Might have been an unused battle section during a previous chapter. I mean, look at that tunnel. It screams boss entrance. These Plaga effigy type thingies remind me of the Scarecrow in the menu screen from RE8. Cool prop design as always.
Sure is quiet.
Temporary, Leon. I can assure you. This rickety old checkpoint is about to get very noisy. But first, it's time for Ashley's locker timeout, which she doesn't care for much.
Hide.
What? Okay.
Still, given what's coming, she'll thank us.
Great.
Sorry, didn't realize that was yours.
I am flattered. But I'm a one-lady type of guy.
A one-lady type of guy, as long as you're not counting Claire Redfield. The Chainsaw Sisters. Another occurrence where the term Bella Sisters was coined in the localization of the original, just like Dr. Salvador. Unfortunately, there's even less information on them, even in the 2004 handbook, as they're put under this umbrella of chainsaw enemies. Again, kinda sad there's no tidbits or lore pieces for us that may point to their origin. They've got some dangerous attacks that if Leon catches even a pixel of, insta-death. Though they have less health than Chainsaw Man, so a few rifle shots to the head usually does the trick. Then again, for the brave, you could attempt the speedrun strat of picking off one, running to the gates, and praying for the best. One of the higher risk strategies, undoubtedly.
Are you hurt?
No, I'm okay. I guess.
You did well back there. Seems this isn't your first time running from creeps.
I can't tell if that's meant to be a compliment.
Real smooth, Leon. Lucky Ashley didn't break an ankle from that height.
Alright, come on.
Okay.
Seems like Mendez didn't like his father's choice in necklaces.
Leon.
Soul requires cleansing.
I like how he contorts the bars, as if we were gonna run back that way with him standing there. Shoot the hat for good luck.
Hurry!
Luckily, all the villagers in this section died to a couple bullets, max. If you're ballsy enough to check the shed, there's a flashbang, which is sort of worth it.
This way! You okay?
I'm stuck.
We need to go!
Close one.
Jesus, Leon. We just had about 10 near deaths, and all he can say is...
Close one.
Classic.
Listen, you're the one he wants. If we see him again, you run.
What about you?
I'll do my job.
That stretch from the Chainsaw Sisters to Mendez is notoriously annoying because there isn't a single save along the way, so if you die, or if Ashley gets captured, you might lose an hour of work.
Be careful.
Cease your pointless struggling. Abandon your body to the will of our god.
We sort of assume that Mendez has the plaga in him, but unlike the villagers, he's kind of articulate. Little bit suspicious.
You're a shooting missionary. You know that.
Oh, Almighty, grant me the strength to crush your enemies.
Son of a bitch! Ashley, run!
Okay.
Hasta luego.
God, I thank you for your gift.
Okay, these barrels are really getting out of hand. Not that it mattered in this case.
You want to get ugly? Let's get ugly.
Time to fight Mr. Grabby in this burning down barn. It's actually a slaughterhouse if you look around at the animal carcasses. Though I think they were killing more than pigs in here. Finding Mendez is easy on the high ground, though there are a couple which feel borderline impossible to dodge. But it's worth it for the dropping knife attack.
That had to have done something. Guess your tap dancing days are over.
Leon is such a trash stalker. It's hard not to love.
Lend me your strength.
Running out of options, huh?
This is a really great boss arena though. I especially love the soundtrack. I think you dropped something there, buddy.
Leon! Quick! This place is coming down!
Give my regards to your god.
So in the original, Mendez had his eye replaced as a way to exit the village via an implanted code. That's not the case in the remake, so yeah, it looks cool, I guess. Maybe he could have spent more time clipping those nails instead of hunting us down.
You're welcome.
Thanks. This fire's bound to catch their attention. Let's keep moving.
Leon, I'm not gonna turn into one of them, right?
I won't let that happen. I promise.
After that transformation, I don't really blame Ashley for being worried. I do have to point out that the flame textures in this game are, well, not great. I can quite literally see the pixels. There used to be a way to skip the Mendez fight completely. Looking back on my speedrun, I was barely playing the game. We're officially steps away from the beginning of the castle section. Small thing, but notice how some of the banner flags are burnt apart and torn? A deer insignia is slightly visible, while the newly minted red Los Iluminados flags look strong as ever. Nice metaphorical representation. It's cool you can see the Chapter 4 boathouse from here. Extra points for immersion.
What's going on?
Well, at least we don't have to worry about being followed. Come on.
Chapter 6 Finito. Definitely a tricky one with the sisters and Mendez. Officially done with the village arc though, and let the castle adventure begin.
Hola, Luis here. You guys still around?
Well, I wanted to go home, but Ashley just had to see this castle first.
Perfect, because I have a present I want to give you. Medicine that will help to suppress the progress of your problem. Come to the courtyard inside of the castle. We can meet up there. Ciao.
All right, Ashley. Luis just said.
I got it. Guess we better get going.
Well, we heard Luis. Need that medicine pretty bad, but first, I need to share a crackpot theory. This might be a colossal stretch, but see these 4 crows? I can't help but think they're the same crows from the very start of Chapter 1. We know animals can be infected with the plagas and controlled by Sadler, so kinda getting some Eyes of Odin vibes.
Got some new wares, stranger. You're in for a treat.
Mr. Merchant's got a new stash. Before that, let's look at the treasure map. I can appreciate how the in-game model matches up with the literal zone map. Nice touch. Okay, so Mr. Merchant is selling some fresh weapons.
I see you have an eye for things. Gun's not just about shooting, it's about reloading. You'll know what I'm talking about.
Like the broken butterfly. Using precious magnum ammo, this baby packs quite a punch. Just look at the size of the barrel. Not to mention the rusted hammer and rear sights. Great design. The problem is this particular model is a bit too inaccurate for my taste. It's pretty difficult to land a shot in chaotic situations. That doesn't mean it's not satisfying as hell to get kills with though. There's a couple more new weapons, but let's save those for later.
What is that? I'm guessing it's not for decoration. Huh. Courtyard's gotta be through that gate. Don't think our hosts are gonna roll out the red carpet. Crossbows, huh? Something tells me they don't want to be friends. Things just keep getting better.
Wow, Leon. 3 for 3 with those comments. Capcom really just throws us into the fire with this chapter, which we'll soon discover more. Similar to the village, the castle doesn't look to be taken care of. Literally, the first room we step inside has a collapsed roof. Gotta work on their stewardship.
What are they?
Shh. Keep your voice down.
Quiet, Ashley. I need to focus while chucking this grenade. Yes, they do drop loot. Ah, our first encounter with an advanced phase of the parasite, the Plagas mandibula. A step up from the Plaga guadagna, this cuddly guy has legs and can spit black acid at its prey. Out of the Plagas evolution, this design is among my favorites. In the concept art, it looks like the Plagas breaks apart from its own skin in order to close a distance in battle. Either that or they originally wanted it to become free of its host and crawl around like a certain dolphin dive enemy we face later on. They're surrounded by this thick carapace, so don't bother shooting them until they open that big teethy mouth. These fancy vases have been swapped out for the village barrels. Big improvement in my book.
Look at you!
Thanks, Ashley.
Muerte!
Muerte? That's not very nice. These golden helmet guys are kind of annoying. No more sniping afar for a quick headshot. I respect their ability to be unfazed by exploding heads though. Speaking of headshots, Ashley begins complimenting Leon whenever he scores a long distance hit. Sort of shows that she's becoming more comfortable with the situation to make an encouraging comment.
Nice shot. No way! They have catapults?
Let the fiesta commence. Each catapult has a red barrel, and the best advice I can give is find those angles, using guns or grenades, and pray. This area is pretty unforgiving, not including the fact they're obsessed with capturing Ashley.
Go right.
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right. That went well.
I'll have a warning next time. Wow. Look at this place. I mean, it's old, but...
It is old, Ashley, but it's still got that Castillo charm. I'm a big fan of this whole arc from a design standpoint, interior and exterior included. I wish there were more areas for us to explore around here, honestly. The village was great for ambiance, but still, let's call it what it was, a shithole.
A most warm welcome to my castle. Such a pleasure to finally make your acquaintance, Mr. Kennedy.
Who the hell are you?
Me? Oh, please, call me Ramon. And allow me to get straight to the point. I would like you to hand the girl there over to me. Now.
Yeah, fat chance, Ramon. The girl's just fine. With me.
Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Kennedy. How novel. Nonetheless, you see, the girl must be ours. With a girl as
very source, your United States, and then the entire world shall overflow with his grace. For that is the iron will of my master, the most holy, Lord Sadler.
Thanks, Ramon, for such a proper introduction. Also, thanks for spoiling all of Sadler's plans that he definitely didn't spend decades working on.
So then, you will comply, yes?
Never.
You heard the lady.
How unfortunate. Do make sure our guest feels at home, now that he has chosen death.
I like how Ashley's starting to grow a spine. I mean, to be fair, rejecting Ramon isn't that hard, but it's the thought that counts.
Leon?
Just stay close.
Time for some new enemies, the Scythe Wielders. Surprisingly annoying to deal with because of their wide-arching attacks. Still just a flesh bag when the riot gun's involved. Also the shield users. Less annoying, especially if you have a penetration weapon. They're pretty cool because of that ridiculous mace they use. With the welcoming party gone, it's time for a little treasure hunting. I think out of the 3 zones, the castle has the most treasures, which sort of makes sense. We'll have to backtrack here later for some of the locked ones.
Looks like we can continue on this way.
Be careful.
Nothing like a quick detour to the torture room. These pieces make the restraining device from Chapter 4 look like a sandbox. There's a note from the caretaker. It describes the experience of having to attend a poor soul being tortured in this compound of pain. The person in question being, funny enough, the most recent torturer of the Salazar's family staff. Until one day, our fair-weather friend Ramon was intrigued by the torturer's delight for violence and decided to visit him. To do what exactly? Well, the caretaker refuses to say, but we'll be meeting him very shortly in the room below. That aside, there are 2 brutalized bodies in the room strung up like rag dolls. I've thought hard about who these could be. The bodies are fresh enough that Ramon himself may have dispensed of the torture himself. For what reason? Who knows? They may have looked at him wrong or even tried to escape.
What was that? Do they keep animals down here or something?
Time to yoink this completely safe key. Say what you will about Ramon, but if he had any hand in choosing this key design, he's got great taste. Guess we found the torturer. He's now known as a Galador, roughly translating to the Claw. The Wolverine hands are fitting for the name. These friendly guys were apparently so physically aggressive that they had to tie their eyes shut, practically blinding them to keep them calm. Sort of like El Gigante having to be put under an incantation. You notice this theme of the Plagas not wanting to play by the rules of others? Of course, being blind increased their hearing to a bat level, so yeah. Even if you stand perfectly still, the Galador will lock onto you unless there's other enemies in the room. Oh, sorry. I guess he heard me change weapons. Fuck's sake. This room is also a bit tougher on Professional with the wooden boards meant to obstruct Leon. It can be a bit tricky to land a shot on his back, but once you do, it's relatively easy to bring him down. You could also just parry his attacks. They're easier to pull off than you think. Gotcha. With Mr. Galador out of the way, I looked around the room and found some very out-of-place footwear. Seems like we now know where the other hikers went off to. Didn't expect to say this, but I think the sacrificees from the opening cutscene got it easy.
Oh, it's you. What happened down there?
Nothing. You were right about the animals, though.
Done with the dungeon, moving on to the night puzzle room. This is a simple but fun puzzle. I sometimes wish some of these were a bit tougher in RE4, but then again, I was complaining earlier about that Del Lago arrangement, which I gave up on, so. Puzzle aside, this is the first painting that looks somewhat unique to me. This could be one of Ramon's relatives. Maybe another Salazar Duke. If you're curious about the choice of stag, fish, bird, and snake for these gong puzzles, these are all the animals on the Salazar crest. We'll get a better look soon, but the stag is stepping on the snake, which I think will make sense metaphorically when we go into detail about the Salazar family history. As well, this stone figure being impaled by the golden sword was originally meant to be in the torture room based on this concept art. It looks like a gate you might have been able to open by shooting 3 snake gongs. Very interesting.
Guess you were right. Hang on. This is the same room as before, isn't it? Guess we just circled around.
Right you are, Ashley, which means chandelier time.
Leon, what are you doing?
Don't even think about trying this yourself.
Me? As if.
And of course, more treasures.
Leon, are you kidding me? Jumping across chandeliers, seriously, who does that?
What are you, my mother?
Salutations, Mr. Kennedy. Are you ready to hand over the girl?
Not this guy again.
I'm taking the liberty of preparing some entertainment for you. Without further ado, the gallant knight protects the princess fair.
Ugh.
Ashley finding Ramon gross rather than scary always makes me chuckle. You'd think a duke possessed by a highly intelligent parasite would be intimidating, but it's just so hard to take him seriously. In a side room, there's a book that talks about the ecology of parasites. Lots of scientific jargon, but the descriptions relate to a symbolism that matches up with Sadler's end goals. Infecting Ashley by herself is kinda useless, but sending her back to Washington and spreading the plagas to high-ranking members of the US government is the real secret sauce. Time to enter a notorious area, water room. I'm confident there's no actual water in the remake, so maybe black goo room?
Leon, they're here!
Ah, the entertainment!
I would definitely say this is in the top 3 hardest rooms. Our gear still isn't amazing, and there's just so many enemies that swarm us. Scythes, flailing maces, crossbows on the balcony, lest we forget the 4 or 5 Plagas Mandibula in the basement. This is why I like the Punisher for its penetration. Great way to stagger shield enemies and clear out mobs. I think a decent strategy here is to throw a flash with all the enemies and hope for the best. After about 40 kills, we still have to protect Ashley while she turns this heavy-ass wheel.
Over here.
No problem.
Time to defend Ashley from the sprinting cultists. The hardest thing is not hitting her while simultaneously dodging attacks from the Mason shield guys.
Okay, get back here!
Now that we're out of there, I can appreciate how mysterious Water Room actually is. What's with the literal waterfall of black ooze everywhere? Something tells me there isn't Texas tea in northern Spain. Okay, so back to my crackpot crow theory. They sure like to make a big presence for a totally unrelated animal. There's no bass in this pond, which is strange considering the next chapter, it'll be full of them. Maybe it's not worth it to load the assets.
Hey, you sure you're good?
Yeah.
Looks like the right place. You okay?
I think so. Instead of worrying about her, worry about your own skin. Foolish little lamb. Temperance, child.
Ashley.
Definitely one of my favorite cutscenes. 2 things. 1, Ashley doesn't want to put Leon in danger after all he's done for her. But 2, when Sadler is possessing you, I think you're still aware of what's going on. Maybe this fades away as the parasite continues to develop, but what if all the villagers and cultists we've killed are trapped in their own body? Kinda creepy.
Wait! Shit.
The catapult section in Water Room made Chapter 7 one of the more punishing arcs. Glad to be done with it.
Roost, come in. Things went to shit. We took refuge inside a castle, but I've just been separated from Baby Eagle.
Say you.
Roost, you're breaking up. Do you read me?
chopper...
Damn it. So much for that.
Hey, you breaking up, you read me. Shocking that the Special Ops Force for rescuing the president's daughter doesn't have better satellite coverage when outdoors. Well, Ashley's gone, so time for us to look around. This is the courtyard, so weren't we supposed to meet Luis here? No one likes a flaker. One of the very few spots with a rhino beetle. The description says they're inedible, but if you want a health upgrade, then down the hatch.
Having a rough day, stranger.
You could say that, merchant. Now's as good a time as any to look at the new weapons. First up, the Stingray.
This gun turns heads into pumpkins, mate. Take this for a rampage through the patch.
It lacks pure DPS compared to the bolt action, but I think it's fair to say this is a superior weapon in most situations. You'd be fine completing a professional playthrough with only the riot gun and Stingray. A new pistol, the Blacktail.
That's an exemplary firearm right there, stranger. Not the best, sure, but she'll make you an ideal companion.
Not a huge fan personally. Feels pretty underwhelming when it comes to pure power, and besides, this is Ada's gun in separate ways, so you get some playtime with it in that. Again, big thing for me is no bullet penetration, which is horrible for this castle area. And of course, the spiffy body armor. It's funny how much I take this for granted in the crossbow sections.
Don't worry, I offer repair services as well.
Before moving on, take out this crow's nest. It'll save you a ton of backtracking for a request that's offered all the way in chapter 12. This looks normal.
This is messed up.
How did they manage to embalm this thing mid-transformation? Time for a not-so-fun room that can easily get out of hand, the wine cellar. We need a red lantern to get through, which means killing this crimson cultist.
Sorry to interrupt. Jesus, my head.
If you don't take these guys out quick, then there's a horrendous snowball effect, especially with the aggressive AI on professional. Another fantastic opportunity for the riot gun, though. There's a chandelier that you can technically use to kill enemies, but the winch is in such a strange place. Maybe if you could shoot it down, it would be a lot better. Got the Crimson Lantern. I first thought this was the tool they use to spur on the Plagas, but I believe it's actually this red bell you can see in the concept art. I wonder if the Plagas are spurred on by different noise pitches or if it's the chanting itself. These knights aren't aggroed yet, but don't worry, we'll get to them.
You can stop right there, Leon. Wouldn't make me use this, would you?
Well, after 6 years, that is one hell of a greeting, Ada.
You don't seem surprised. Interesting.
Try using knives next time.
This is one of the few moments where Ada looks genuinely concerned. She hasn't seen Leon since Raccoon City, and it's clear he's had some improvements to his fighting technique.
Not a bad move. Very smooth.
So who are you working for this time?
Oh, Leon. You know I don't work in town.
Probably best you don't know her client this time around, Leon.
Leave the girl. She's lost no matter what. You walk away now, and who knows? Maybe you'll live to meet me again. And then I might get you that greeting you were looking for.
You think I'm gonna give up that easy?
Right. How about we continue this discussion another time?
Another strange occurrence where some cutscenes render the pistol as the SG when I'm definitely using the Punisher. At the same time though, the engine recognizes I have my armor and shotgun equipped, so not too sure what to make of that.
Last person I thought I'd run to here.
Not the first or last time there, buddy. Even the castle seems to like making disgusting stews. Though I will say, this looks far more appetizing than the cesspool from the Hunter's Lodge. Time for another puzzle, again. Kinda simple, but still satisfying to complete.
That should do it.
Do you think Ramon had to complete that puzzle every time he came through here? Probably ended up using this chair as a step up.
Alright. Need to find Ashley.
Been a while since we've had some Iluminados gospel. I'm actually not sure how to interpret this one. I think the signal refers to Sadler's control and atonement may have to do with the actions of Gregorio Salazar, but we'll go into that later. For those scared of spiders, I'd skip a minute or two.
Christ!
Lovely. The adult form of the plagas, the Alanya. These adorable 8-legged guys like to latch onto the back of enemies and turn them into a berserk state. Even though they seem to crawl around, they need to attach themselves to a host or suffer a quick death from overexposure. This solidifies that plagas, even when grown, still need a flesh bag to inhabit. Their appearance and chittering are disturbing enough that mods exist online to turn them into white boxes. I mean, look at this thing. Its legs, teeth, ugh, nightmare fuel. Sorry about that. It wasn't fun for me to inspect those things either. Entering the next major area of the castle, the ramparts. Like before, we can see the future locales of the castle section, which is pretty sweet.
Oh, dear Mr. Kennedy. You appear to have lost your company.
This is the second time we've been able to shoot the megaphone in RE4 Remake. I think it's a little bit disappointing, because all Ramon does is chuckle.
Without further ado.
Compare this to the original's cutscene of a future chapter.
Where's the satisfying sound of one's impalement?
Won't fall for this old trick.
Oh look, 5 crows again. I'm not crazy. There is a hidden meaning here.
Oh, you were expecting me.
The Alanyas are on full display with their annoyance. Whenever they take control of an enemy, there's a flurry of attacks that come with. Punisher penetration is a nice counter though.
Okay, I think I see how this works.
I find the sun puzzle maze system to be not great. In fact, this whole first area is a tad frustrating for me, but that's because of my short attention span. There are some considerable treasures around here though, so I wouldn't sleep on it. Well, seems like even the enemies don't like this area. Using a grenade near this gate lets you bypass a big chunk. Great for speedrunning, though it is finicky to get right. Hello, Mr. Armored Gigante.
Another one. You guys are really starting to become a giant pain in my ass.
If you're swimming in pesetas, then technically you can find some peace and quiet by bringing a rocket launcher to this encounter.
Another one. You guys are really starting to become a giant...
Might be handy considering how obnoxious the rocket hitbox is in certain areas.
Yes. Cannon. Hope it works.
But for the rest of us, a cannon will have to do.
Adios, you son of a bitch. Alright, open for traffic.
And yes, both the RPG and cannon lead to the same result near the exit.
Sorry, I've had my fill of you guys.
Still not sure how he snuck up on us. What with the 5 tons of bodyweight, chainmail, and, oh, you know, the bottomless black pit.
Ashley, where are you?
Stay back. I might hurt you again. I'm so scared. When that happened, I wasn't myself anymore. That was something else.
She must have been terrifying, I know.
You too?
It wasn't until this point that Ashley found out about Leon's infection. Ashley probably realized, wow, this guy's in the same shitty situation as me, but he's still keeping it together. To be fair, Leon hasn't been possessed by Sadler.
It's okay to be afraid, you know. But you can't run. You gotta keep moving forward. We will beat this. Together.
I don't know if I can.
You can. Just give me a heads up before you stab me next time, okay?
Leon, thanks.
I love this man so much. We all need a Leon in our life. Chapter 8, Dunzo. Yeah, you know, it's an okay one. We get the Ada cutscene, which is nice, but not much in terms of side content or interesting fights. The Gigante section is sorta on rails after all.
Luis, where are you?
Sorry, I screwed up. Come to my rescue, Prince Charming.
I'll show you charming, pal.
Come on. I'm in the ballroom past the courtyard. Don't be late to the dance.
Can't believe that guy.
He's in trouble. We can't just leave him, right?
Come save me, Prince Charming. Never change, Luis. Another unique painting I've yet to find. Probably a relative of Salazar. I wish there was a nameplate or something. Before, I spoke about disliking the Rampart maze, but I actually quite enjoy the hedge maze. The lighting excels big time from all the candles and torches. Just don't look too hard at the moon texture or you'll lose some immersion. There's a lot of colmillos around here. Guess Salazar looked at the maze and said, you know what would be great? If we use this as a kennel.
Here you go.
Who left him out?
Easier this way.
So we have to pull some levers and let the Salazar insignia fly free.
Hey, look! The flag's been lowered!
With that flag down, we finally get a decent look at the Salazar insignia in-game. With their family motto, Mors Vobiscum. We'll go into detail on what that means a little bit later.
Ashley.
Okay.
Ashley's got to hold this lever down for us to access a fancy door. It's a little strange, considering that Leon can put his arm through there, but, you know, we wouldn't have tension when the cultists stormed the area a few seconds later.
Leon! They're here!
Ashley, run!
By the way, trigger discipline is a must whenever Ashley gets captured or this happens.
Shit! Ashley!
Still miss Leon's death quote from the original.
Oh, no.
If you're wondering where all the enemies come from in this area, take a look around at the endless supply of spawning holes. It's like a bloody beehive.
Now we can finally get out of this maze.
With all 3 flags done, we could move on, but I want to do a little bit of backtracking to that area with the knights. These guys are known as an armadula. Plagas who have lost their hosts will cozy up in one of these pieces of armor to conserve energy. How does that work? Not a clue, but it looks pretty cool. I've always appreciated the clunky attacks. It perfectly resembles how little control the Plagas have. They're just hoping for a lucky momentum kill. Speaking of attacks, a couple of their moves are very difficult to parry consistently, but when you do, it's so satisfying.
Not bad, right?
Boosting Ashley over, we picked up the Depraved Idol.
Whoa.
There's only 2 of these in the game, one being the reward for that lake puzzle, which I happily gave up on. Sells for a nice 15k pesetas, but still not the most valuable non-gem treasure in the game. It's also the only treasure that Ashley comments on to sell.
I wonder how much that's worth.
Which shows that the merchant is not a figment of Leon or Ada's imagination.
You gonna sell that thing you got?
In that same room, we find a book titled Salazar Family Chronology. Now this is the good stuff. Let's start at the beginning of the Salazar line with Gregorio Salazar, known as the Conqueror. This absolute legend was a zealous warrior who went on religious crusades during the reign of King Ferdinand II. One of the targets of this crusade was none other than the Los Iluminados, who infested much of Valdalobos before his cleansing. King Ferdinand must have been pretty happy with his success as he made him Count of Valdalobos, hence beginning the royal lineage. He also found an ancient complex deep beneath the castle and put the parasites there for a later member of the family to deal with. That family member would be Hipólito, the Demon Sealer. What a badass title, right? Hipólito banished the remnants of the Los Iluminados to an offshore island. Still, as we learned with Luis's grandfather, the Plagas were in much of the wildlife around Valdalobos, so he had to clean up the place. One night, Salazar Castle was attacked from the previously mentioned ancient complex where the Plagas were being held. Hipólito did well to suppress this attack and fully seal away the creatures, but he died of his wounds in the process. Which brings us to Gregorio, the architect. If you're ever curious about why Salazar Castle has so many convoluted areas, You can thank Gregorio. He took the family fortune and spent it on these elaborate defenses after being attacked by plaga-infected arthropods. Water Room comes to mind as something that Gregorio might have built, but I wouldn't leave out the catapults or ramparts. Next in line is Jose Alonso de Tlenquil. There's not much known about Jose Alonso except that he worked on rebuilding the coffers of the Salazar family and died a peaceful death. Sleep well, Count. Not as boring a life for Alejandro the Lavish. He took all of Jose Alonso's dough and spent it on an exceedingly intricate courtyard and ballroom, the courtyard being the hedge maze we just took a tour through. He wouldn't have much time to enjoy though, as he died young, only to be replaced by Maria Isabel, the lady. There's not much to note other than her having a long reign until the age of 90, and considering this would be around late 1800s, early 1900s, that's certainly lengthy. Count Diego the Severe would continue an iron grip reign, only to be murdered by the hands of a devil. His wife Catalina would inherit the title and raise her only child, Ramon Salazar. This brings us back to the first page where it says Catalina brought the devil to cure Ramon of his sickness. Guess that backfired, but we can easily ascertain that the devil is Sadler. Regarding Ramon's sickness, it sounds like progeria or Werner syndrome, seeing that he looks 100 years old but is only 20 when the game takes place.
If you don't need me, then get off my back, old man.
Did you say old man, Mr. Kennedy? It might come as a surprise, but I'm only 20 years old.
Salazar family lore is great, and adds so much to the background flavor and history of Valdalobos. Anyway, moving on to the Grand Hall, this room's definitely decadent. I first thought this may have been the ballroom, but it's only the entrance.
Ballroom must be this way.
Inside, there are various statues of a woman who may be Maria Isabel, Alejandro's wife. As the chronology said, he was regarded as playful, so I could see him having some statues made of her. There are other works in here as well, plenty of unique paintings. Some being wholesome landscapes of Valdalobos, while others are eerie, like this one with a severed head.
Dios mío! Give me a heads up next time!
Hello, Mr. Merchants. I see you have a new shooting range for us. I say this being completely serious, but I would rather complete a randomizer permadeath playthrough than have to perfect every shooting course that he has to offer. Hitting all the skulls, especially on the bolt thrower section, is not fun.
Look, there's a statue up there.
Right you are, Ashley. We gotta find 3 heads, which means exploration time.
Huh. A dining hall.
Eat here? No thanks.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. Who wants to eat in a room with a bunch of taxidermy? The red is cool though. On the wall, there's 2 paintings. These are likely paintings of Diego the Severe and his wife Catalina. I only say that because he looks like an older man and we know Alejandro the Lavish died young. Though this could be Gregorio the Conqueror, as he's the popular folklore character of Valdalobos. This room also has one of the sleaziest medallion placements nestled in between those curtains. Nasty, Capcom.
So, you do a lot of missions like this?
Well, yeah. But I'm not used to having such good company.
Is that a compliment?
Take it however you want.
Leon!
Looks like we figured it out.
Leon, there's some armor. Bet you could use it like a bulletproof vest.
Little old-fashioned for my taste.
Too bad. I think you'd look pretty dashing.
Jesus, feels like I'm a third wheel right now. It's my time to talk, okay? Walking through this corridor, I think I misidentified the mines from the village section. Those weren't limestone, they're marble. Guess we know where all that went to. A few steps further and we've entered the armory. Bit of a reach, but I think this may have been used as a fighting pit, seeing how there's a count's chair near the top, which acts as a viewing area. The knight designs in this section are particularly neat. Good stuff, Capcom. Speaking of knights, I think Leon's got some memory loss.
Leon! The armor!
Come on, you can't be serious!
Time for an Armadura killing floor. Ashley's actually helpful with her lantern throwing, but this can be tricky if you get stun staggered into a bunch of sword hits.
Go to hell, you rusty piece of shit!
Hey! Are you okay?
Yeah! Nighty-night, knights.
Thanks. You sure you're alright? You're not burned, are you?
No, thanks for your help. I really did the trick.
Funny how Ashley asked Leon if he was burnt. Those flames got pretty close, so I guess they're not harmful to humans. I picked up a cubic device. I always figured this was a quasi-replacement for the Ashley slide puzzle from RE4 Vanilla. Much simpler to complete though. Entering the last and toughest area around here, unless of course you use a special technique. Normally a cultist lowers that lever and we get swarmed. Instead, we'll chuck a grenade and interrupt his animation. Now they have to run into a kill zone without a lick of damage towards us. Easy. Lots of good loot to be found in here, but all this red carpet, if you know what carpet smells like, this has got a stench to it. I also found this somewhat bizarre painting. It looks like a depiction of Count Gregorio's crusade against the Los Iluminados. See that symbol up there? Seems very similar to the church insignia. While we're here, let's pick up the exclusive upgrade ticket. These babies are expensive, but it makes sense seeing how you can skip the enormous pesetas investment needed if you want to upgrade a weapon straight out. I usually throw it on the bolt action for that double damage, though I admit that there's some lost creativity here on Capcom's part. Would have been interesting for an exclusive to add a new firing mode or some type of super attachment, you know? Backtracking is a common theme in RE4, so let's head back to the castle entrance.
You don't get carsick or anything, do you?
You're about to find out.
Unfortunately, the goon squad is here to make our life miserable. With them out of the way, we can yoink a super unique treasure, the Justicia statue. Take a close look at the bottom of this piece. See the woman stepping on the snake? And below the snake, a red book. Kind of a reach, but we know that the book of the Los Iluminados is red, and that the Salazar crest insignia has the stag stepping on a snake, right? See what I'm getting at? This is a no-repeat treasure, so I think there's some significance there. Time to plop the heads in before it's Ashley's turn to save Leon.
Leon, the stairs!
Stay back.
Run. Now!
If that isn't the coolest ass move, then I don't know what is. Imagine being able to do that in game.
I won't run. Wait for me, Leon.
You know, it's about time she stepped up. Nah, I'm kidding. Her section plays relatively well. We have to find a key to the lever so we can get Leon out, which means dealing with more of these delightful Amadulovs. Fortunately, we've got a convenient blue lantern that wards them off.
Don't scare me like that.
I'll be coming back for you, rat.
Is that a clock? It's broken.
This is one of the few lore pieces that you can read without picking it up. But it's in Spanish, so I guess Ashley suddenly is fluent? I like that some of the brasswork here has Illuminado symbols on it. Could use a quick shine though. You know, I'm not much of a book guy, but even I could see myself reading in here for days on end. Just without the, you know, plaga-infested armor sets.
No way. A hidden staircase? It must lead to a secret room or something.
The key ring we pick up is animals from the Salazar insignia. Took me a while to figure out, but you can somewhat identify what key goes where based on the chest design. Unlike most interactables though, the game is still running in the background, so one of these knights can sneak up on you real easy.
What now?
Oh, the fun's just getting started, Ashley.
Leon?
Ashley, are you okay?
Hang on. I'll figure something out.
Before saving Leon, let's look around a bit. This appears to be the librarian's working area. There's blood on the floor with stained rags, almost as if someone was dragged. The note they left signifies that they weren't a big fan of Ramon, so my theory is that they were unsuccessful in escaping and might even be one of the two brutalized bodies in the torture room from early on in the castle. At this point, we don't even know who made the blue flame or how it even works in relation to the plagas.
It stopped?
I imagine this may have something to do with Hippolito the Sealer, who realistically had to come up with a way to keep the plagas at bay if they ever tried to escape. So maybe he or another one of the Salazar line conjured up this method?
Oh, thank God.
I am done with armor. Didn't I just say I was done?
Castle Salazar cares not for your squabbles, Ashley. We've got to pull some symbols to open the door. On Professional, they laid out a bunch of wooden obstacles which Ashley can't damage, so the pathing can be tricky.
This sucks!
There's actually an achievement to complete this entire area without using your lantern against the knight, but I wouldn't advise that on Professional.
No, don't go out! Again! I've had enough of this!
Unsurprisingly, the insignia is booby-trapped to the armadillos. There's one encounter on the spiral staircase that speedrunners would sometimes get hit by if their FPS was too high. I know that sounds kinda strange, but game engines can be finicky.
Leon!
Ashley, are you alright?
Yeah. Give me a sec, I'll get you out.
Ashley! Shit!
That thing gave Leon the stink eye, almost as if it still had its cognition. Finally done with chapter 9. Most people skip the part with the clock, but it's still pretty long. I think compared to Ashley's area in RE4 Vanilla, the Armaduros were a bit tamer to deal with. The lantern takes away any sense of danger in my view.
So, what's become of the Amber?
Sorry, nothing yet. But my little helper is creating quite the commotion. Everything will work out just fine.
As long as you can keep your dog under control.
He's a good boy. Predictable.
Fine. Keep your mutt. But don't come crying to me if you get bit.
Wow, that totally unidentifiable voice sounds pretty friendly. I mean, Ada's face says it all.
Leon, changed your mind yet?
Ada?
Assuming you haven't, I've got a tip for you. Seems like something big is about to go down in the throne room. Babysitting's tough, huh?
Hey, Ada! Ada! Perfect.
Poor Ashley, though. It's a miracle she hasn't had a nervous breakdown with all the weird-ass goons grabbing her. I picked up a crown from one of the bonus treasure chests. I don't feel good about it, but pesetas are pesetas. So nice.
I'll buy it at a high price.
With that windfall, we can take a look-see at the final shotgun offered by Mr. Merchant, the Striker.
You'll be shooting off some nasty fireworks in quick succession with that.
I talked about the riot gun being my favorite of the group, and I'm gonna stick by that. Not to say the Striker is bad by any means, it's just better suited for hordes of enemies rather than the tight spread of the riot gun. The built-in foregrip is pretty telling. This baby is so powerful that you need to use 2 hands. Mr. Merchant's also got a new quest for us, a super enemy in the mausoleum. Not worried about this one in all honesty. Let's take a detour back to the library, but now playing as Leon.
Yes.
I told you I'd come back for you, rat. It's good to kill the Armaduros in here because they're one of the few enemies that drop spinels. There's an extremely mediocre weapon up here, the CQBR. Assault rifles are cool, no doubt, but this thing is an ammo guzzler. Specifically, rifle ammo. Like, no way am I putting valuable rifle ammo into this thing. It's just not worth it. Also, this just isn't a Leon weapon. When I think of assault rifles, Chris and Carlos come to mind more than anything.
You stay on the door. I got this fucker.
Downstairs, it's time for the super enemy. This is just a juiced up Armaduro with a golden armor reskin. It's larger than the others by a fair amount. The red eyes are a nice touch, but it's still a bit lazy in my view.
Alright. Time to get medieval on your asses.
The fight is easy enough. My bolt action with the exclusive puts out such high damage that we 3-shotted him, with 2 of the bullets hitting the actual armor. You think a CQBR could pull that off so efficiently? You can also parry the attacks if that's more your style.
Yeah, that's right.
We can't crouch under the knights, but I wonder if that area that Ashley retrieved, the Salazar insignia, is related to Hippolyto's seal for the Plagas. Why else would there be a bunch of these blue torches? We're only a few feet from that fancy ballroom we learned about, which is perfect timing to face a new enemy, the Novistador, meaning the unseen. Let me just say that the lore behind these buzzing critters makes El Gigante's upbringing look tame. True to their name, they like to camouflage themselves pretty much anywhere they can. For a new player, you'll definitely get jump scared by 1 or 2 along the way.
Fucking monsters.
Near the ballroom, we find a diary titled Chronicles of Pursuit 1. Before we get into that, there's a bird nest directly above the table that at the time of making this video, I had never noticed before. Anyway, this wholesome monologue was written by Isidro Uliatle Talavera. I definitely butchered that pronunciation. A perfectly sane servant of Ramon, who was given order by his master to explore the intricacies of arthropods and how they may help the frail human form. 4 years into his pursuit, Isidro discovers that the black liquid, referring to the goo we saw in Waterroom, can be injected into a virgin female for a certain type of breeding upon pregnancy. Listen, I didn't want to have to say that, okay?
Why don't you do us all a favor and leave before the audience gets pissed off?
2 years after that, Isidro has infected the black liquid into the wombs of several pregnant women. He's named them U2, referring to Uliatle II. It's hard to say, but these women must have given birth to the offspring, who are now multiplying at a fast pace. At this point, Ramon recognizes Isidro's success and named this new species Novistador. Taking a closer look at the concept piece, the artist was nice enough to outline what looks like a human body attached to the bottom of the torso. It's harder to see on the in-game model, but I think those claws in a bear hug position might be exactly that. With that out of the way, we finally enter the ballroom. As mentioned, this was constructed during the reign of Alejandro the Lavish, and it's now infested with Novistadors.
Wow, Ramon, you are really slacking on your pest control.
I'd say there's at least 30 of them that spawn in this room, which makes sense given the big hives everywhere. Novistador AI in Professional is abysmal, as in they'll harass you like crazy. Trying to rush through this area is extremely luck dependent. Still, you want to kill them because they have a super high Sapphire drop rate.
There we go.
Oh, Mr. Kennedy, not much of a knight, are you?
Not much of a fighter, he says, as we eradicated about 40 Novis. Through these doors is the Death Room. I'd say this is in the top 3 for toughest areas.
Great. There's 2 of them.
Less so due to the number of enemies, but more so its very high threat. Other than the swarm of cultists, we have a normal Galador and an upgraded variant, the armored Galador. These big boys have more health and less areas to do damage, but that's about it. I also think their player model is a bit larger maybe. I love the bullhead because it gives them a different sounding voice line, as if they're in an echo chamber. In this room, there's a bell you can use to lure the Galadors. A smart player would do just that, but I did it the hard way by playing Ring Around the Rosie while dodging flying axes from the many spawning cultists. Anyway, picked up the 2 unicorn horns to save Ashley, but let's admire this room now that it's Plagas free. It's called the Antechamber. This was used in castles and palaces as a waiting room for those who were going to see royalty in the subsequent throne room. Very nice.
Ashley!
Leon, stop! No, don't come any closer!
Are you hurt?
Watch out! No!
Please, do continue.
Leon's situational awareness seems to range from clueless to John Wick.
No!
Do not resist, my dear. It serves only to make your suffering all the worse.
Please, please!
Looks like Ashley's about to get the Dumbledore treatment from the Half-Blood Prince. I'm pretty sure this is a concentrated version of the Plagas. Poor girl can't catch a break.
You sick! Nos despedimos, Señor Kennedy.
The first time I fell down here, my QTE muscle memory kicked in from the original. So glad they dispensed with those in the remake.
Hang in there, Ashley. I'm coming for you.
There's a bunch of bodies impaled down here, so it looks like we're not the first to make our way down. Hard to tell if these were cultists, Catholics who wouldn't convert to Los Iluminados, or probably a mix of both.
Gave up the ghost, huh? Talk about sticking the landing. The hell?
A few more steps and we encounter a glimpse into one of the Novisador's powers. Invisibility cloaking. I mean, to be fair, they aren't called the Unseen for no reason. Strangely enough, this is the first and only time Novis are invisible, except for their green eyes. So I'm not sure if that's because we're in a pitch black cave, or maybe it's the water. Jump scares aside, the gameplay design of these guys kinda sucks ass. I'm not confident the hitbox is rigged up well because it feels very inconsistent, even when you spray them with an SMG. Towards the exit, we find a dusty old scroll from a prisoner. This is a journal of someone shoved into this pit and their experience. We learn that the water around here isn't actually H2O, but rather the black ooze concoction that Ashley was waterboarded with earlier. Maybe that's how the Novis can stay invisible. Unsurprisingly, consuming this ooze turns the drinker into a berserk state, so pretty normal Plagas infection. There's an elegant crown next to this dried up skeleton. Fair to say this could have been a former Salazar count for all we know. Maybe Diego Salazar, Ramon's father? It would line up seeing how he died from, as quoted, the hands of the devil.
Give me a break.
Looks like there's a way out. Surely the prisoners could have just escaped this way, right?
So that's a request done and dusted, eh? Good stuff, mate.
Time to fence this shiny crown to Mr. Merchant, and I'll need the pesetas for my next purchase. The rocket launcher.
Not my place to say, really, but sometimes things are more interesting if you keep a level playing field, don't you find?
160,000 pesetas for this bad boy, so not on the cheap side. You can get it for 20% off if you have a Leon-specific charm from the shooting range. Technically the largest weapon in the game, and capable of one-shotting any enemy or boss, no matter the difficulty. I like to think Leon always smugs when using it. He knows what he's packing. There's a note outside this door from our resident psychopath, Isidro. He's blabbing about liquid nitrogen showers being installed in the area ahead. He likely had these installed when the Novisadors, or what other creations he was working on, were in their untamed phase. So this may have been his way of controlling them. Either way, controlling the enemy ahead is a laughable statement. In here, there is only silence. Probably the quietest area in the game, for a time at least. We stumble into a makeshift lab with various books, chemical supplies, etc. I prefer the concept art rendition, as it feels a lot more, well, spooky. You got a live Plagas, severed hands and vials, actual evidence of human experimentation, but here we're only left with a guy on a slab.
These people are not right.
Though there is some lore at least. Another chronicle from Isidro. This is number 3 in the trilogy. He talks about setting up a valve system that will inject the black goo straight into his veins, hoping for some type of transformation. More specifically, that being the Verdugo, the executioner of Ramon. If it wasn't clear, Isidro is Ramon's butler, but more importantly, we'll discover that he's retained his awareness by way of a rare type of plaga bestowed upon him by Sadler. Look how nervous Leon is. I totally get it, man. All that scampering in the vents above with that subtle growl.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Our friend doesn't care much for personal space when it comes to his tail. Only a few more steps until we're joined by Isidro officially.
You're Ramon's lapdog.
He doesn't last long though, thanks to the liquid nitrogen and rocket launcher combo. It is possible to kill him normally, but he has a lot of health. About 20k hit points.
Eat this. I think you need to chill out.
Using the liquid nitrogen will net you triple the damage though. If you have a leveled up bolt action or magnum, then it's more than doable.
How's that? It's different, huh?
Of course, you could always just run and wait for the world's slowest elevator, but nah.
Finally, some peace and quiet. My condolences to your master.
We pick up a gold monocle from his body. Safe to say this is confirmation of his butler status. I'm not too sure what the Verdugo is supposed to be based off. His growls sound like a lion, but he stalks his prey like a tiger. Fantastic design all the same. As the time goes on, Leon's connection to Sadler becomes stronger, and that Plagas isn't going to stop evolving.
Go now. Deliver to these vagrant children their salvation. As you wish.
I think Sadler may have chosen to show us that sneak peek of a ghost from Leon's past just to fuck with him.
I'll make it cheap for you.
And with that, we made it through chapter 10. That's always a fun one. Not too long, and unlike other parts, it's not tiresome to explore the side areas, like Ashley's section.
Feeling better?
Yeah. Seems like it worked.
Bad news? All we've done is buy you some time. The suppressant's effects will wear off all too soon. You ready to go?
Don't worry about me. Ashley is the priority.
In that case, we know what we have to do.
I feel like most characters would try and encourage Leon, but Luis is just like, well, alright then, fine by me.
Then come, Sancho Panza! Let us rescue the Princess Dulcinea!
You're gonna hurt yourself.
Hey, that was my lance.
It's funny how the box Luis was holding has 6 places for vials. So he gave one to Leon, one for Ashley, maybe one for himself before he extracted his own? Where are the other vials, eh, Luis?
Why help me, though? What's in it for you?
No need to be suspicious. I said I'd help you, didn't I?
The gold monocle sells for a fat 30k pesetas. Easily the most expensive non-gem treasure in the game. Before the mines, we find a foreman's log. This here is some truly juicy lore. Mr. Foreman shares the story of being hired for a mining contract in the Valdelobos region. Seeing how he writes backcountry dump, his place of origin might have been a developed city like Bilbao or Madrid. After 8 days of digging under Salazar Castle, some of the workers began collapsing from dust inhalation. Definitely a bit strange. Another week passes and he's begun to vomit blood. His regret for taking the job is enormous. Totally understandable. It doesn't get much better for this guy. His grammar and cognitive abilities have clearly diminished. There's mention of insects and voices. The final entry. No date is written, but the foreman's adoration for Lord Sadler is clear as day. Evidently, this tells us that the workers were hired by Sadler and possibly Ramon to dig away the Great Seal holding the Plagas from the days of Hippolito. Curious that the Plagas can be hidden to the naked eye. In this case, a form of dust. Who knows how many workers were infected by the Plagas? Could have been hundreds. Great bit of backstory either way.
A little hard for me to put my faith in someone who used to work for Umbrella.
So you heard, huh? Umbrella's done for. You don't need to worry about them anymore.
You didn't answer my question. What are you after?
I just want to feel good about myself. Make amends. Or something like that.
Got ourselves some boulders in the way. You can go fetch the dynamites, or you could shoot it with a rocket launcher to save some time.
Dios mío! Give me a heads up next time!
Just stand far out of the way. We enter a room with this huge piece of mining equipment. I sort of imagined more picks and shovels, but this is heavy machinery, no doubt. Lots of workers here, probably the ones that were infected in the first place years ago.
Looks like we've got company. What do you want to do?
Luis asks if we want to do this quietly. Pretty sure that's impossible, so I recommend just going to town from the top of the platform.
¡Cuidado! The ones with chainsaws are no joke!
Believe me, I know!
After clearing out those enemies, we gotta pull a lever. There's a chainsaw sister chilling in the control room, but we can snipe her from here easily.
You handle yourself pretty well. You sure you're just a researcher?
I'm just an average guy who happens to be quite the ladies' man.
Right, Luis, right.
Is she... well, you know.
Don't worry. She's cool.
After you, I insist.
Such a gentleman.
Oh look, the same Gigante from the castle ramparts area. You can tell because of the wound he's got on his eye from the cannonball.
Now you owe me.
Luis, heads up!
Now we're even.
Is it always like this with you?
The easy way to deal with this fight is use the lever and send these guys into a pit of lava, but then you'd be missing out on some delicious treasure.
Nice! That's what I like to see!
Instead, I like to chuck 2 or 3 heavy grenades because it shreds through the Gigante's armor.
One for each of us.
That does mean you miss out on Luis's dynamite escapade though.
Leon! Over here! Delivery!
With those 2 bozos out of the way, we finish facing Gigantes for the rest of the story. There's 4 of them in total, the 2 castle ones, the village one Leon faced with Mr. Wolf, and another that Ada encounters in separate ways. We probably did the residents a favor by putting them away, honestly.
They're keeping those things cooped up down here too?
The underground here is sacred to them. See, this is where they discovered Las Plagas, preserved inside ancient deposits of amber.
Of course they did.
Luis is kind enough to drop some exposition on where the Plagas originated. If you weren't a lore fiend like myself, reading every journal and notebook, then this might have been a shock.
You're not suggesting we ride this thing?
Do you see any other way?
Never a good sign when there's skulls hoisted before a minecart ride.
Give us a push, Sancho.
Who are you calling Sancho?
There, it's moving. This should speed things up a bit.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Hey, we're in a hurry, right? Oh, by the way.
What now?
Hope you like thrill rides.
So in this section, you gotta shoot obstacles, lean, and deal with the gang squad. Luis makes us use his pistol, which is strange considering that my upgraded Punisher is no doubt more effective. Unlimited ammo at least. I always felt this area was a bit undercooked on Professional. Might have been nice for Capcom to throw some Novisadors into the mix for an added layer of difficulty. The wrong way death scenes are pretty hilarious though. Also, I'm sad photo mode doesn't work on the minecart. This entire section is cool.
Hey, is that noise what I think it is?
Towards the end, we get a visit from Chainsaw Man, who's got a cart of his own. These rickety things are so fragile that a few bullets will knock him off easily.
End of the line, asshole!
Look! You can see where they dug up the bunks! Ahead!
You're kidding. Hit the brake! What? What? Jump!
Oh yeah!
Luis!
Can I get a hand? Give us a 3-2-1 next time, eh, Sancho?
Whatever.
And we've entered Bugtown. If you look up, you can start working on the merchant quest right away by destroying these hive pustules.
me a break.
We can make it if we circle around. Come on.
I find it hilarious that we jumped a good 30 feet from a moving minecart, but this 5-foot leap to the wooden plank is too much to ask.
Pain in my ass.
The Novistadors are really flexing their camouflage in this area. Even with 250 hours, I still get caught off guard sometimes. This whole locale is ginormous, so it makes me think there must have been hundreds, if not thousands of workers enlisted for this operation. I guess it's a good thing this mine had plenty of gold for Salazar to fund the miners with.
I hate insects! Take care of them for me, would ya?
How about you open fire instead of your mouth?
Hey, I'm the brains, you're the brawn.
These two are like a bickering old couple sometimes. So good. Look how deep this mining drill goes down. Didn't these guys learn anything from John Tolkien?
You fear to go into those mines.
Mr. Merchant's got a cozy little setup in this alcove. Going to upgrade my bayonet a fat amount for the upcoming fight.
If you're interested in, well, we've given this one all we have to give.
Be straight with me for once.
Los Iluminados. I was working for them.
See? There you go.
Helping the two of you doesn't make up for it. I know that. But still, I don't want anyone else to get hurt.
In that case, you better get serious.
Harsh words for a squire.
The fresh air is calling our names. Por fin! Gus, if we made it all this way, you know it means we're almost...
Almost what?
Luis!
Long time no see, rookie.
Such a small thing, but Leon looks completely stunned in this clip. Really excellent facial acting.
Major Krauser? What the hell? Why?
Recovering stolen goods. And killing a few rats along the way. Easy work.
Ashley, it was you.
You catch on quick! Didn't I teach you? Knives are faster.
Man, do I love this cutscene though. RE4 uses motion capture extensively, so I bet filming these knife moves between the actors was a ton of fun.
Not good. We are just getting started, rookie.
Are you being controlled by that cult?
This has nothing to do with them. I'm a free man who made a choice.
Krauser's little monologue shares that he was responsible for Ashley's abduction. Capcom streamlines a lot of his backstory because it was somewhat complex in RE4 Vanilla. I actually think this was wise because the mentor-pupil dynamic they're pushing between him and Leon is what I personally find most interesting, and that's on full display in the remake. I know quite a few fans aren't happy with his new voice. I actually don't mind it, but you know, everyone's entitled to an opinion.
You may be able to prolong your life, but it's not like you can escape your inevitable death, is it?
Major! You're not thinking straight!
Oh, my mind's clearer than it's ever been. Now focus and show me what you got!
Compared to the QTE from RE4 Original, I'll take this fight any day.
A soldier like you! Why would you work for these freaks?
Why? Have you forgotten what happened 2 years ago?
Operation Javier?
Killed us all. Without water, without mercy. Only devastating power!
Can be a bit tricky depending on the moves Krauser uses on you, but an upgraded knife while aiming for the head usually does the trick.
Enough play, rookie. You haven't changed a damn bit. What a disappointment.
I think it's symbolic that in both the original and remake, Leon needs saving from Krauser his first time around. I don't think he has it in him to kill his teacher at that moment.
Well, if it isn't the bitch in the red dress.
Not looking good, eh, my friend? And such a loss to the ladies of the world.
Don't talk.
Take this. The key to my laboratory. Go there and remove those damn parasites. Help Ashley.
A little thing I noticed is there's an umbrella logo on the side of his cigarette lighter. Also an engraving that says UE Lab 6. It's a nice touch.
You know, I led a pretty shitty life. But now, eh? What do you think, Leon? People can change, right?
Rest easy, Don Quixote. Amazing chapter, one of the best. I'm a bit biased being a fan of the Leon x Krauser dynamic, but also Luis is with us the whole time, so excellent stuff.
You were a fine knight, Don Quixote. You won't get away with this, Krauser.
I think Luis's death was the first catalyst for Leon's bolstered resolve against Krauser. Very good character development.
Leon, there's only time to say this once, so listen up. They took your friend to the top of the clock tower. If you hurry, you might get there before she turns into one of them.
Ah, so you aren't heartless after all. I guess I should be thankful?
Yeah, you should.
Thanks for the hint, Ada, in that definitely not monotone voice. Time for a short detour back to the throne room after we pick up this merchant request. Let's be honest, this is the most satisfying request in Leon's story. We know what to do. Now that we've returned from the underground, we can kind of deduce that the ballroom is right above where they found the bugs. So it makes sense why the Novis are concentrated here, given that their hive is only a few hundred feet below. No Galadors in the antechamber this time, but plenty of Plaga spiders who can be extremely obnoxious if they pull a 4-hit combo. Now we finally get to explore the throne room after being pushed down the pit earlier. The design of this area is so sick, honestly. Look at the depictions of people falling to their deaths and the various pieces of brasserie. Nice. Ramon definitely had a few of his friends sacrificed here. As well, the second and last remaining chronicle of pursuit from our friend Isidlo. In October, Isidlo had the housekeeper, quote, volunteer, quote, to be experimented on by fusing insect DNA with her own. This went on for 6 months until Isidlo finally made a breakthrough. What did he name this creation? U3. Ooh.
Since you're here, why don't I introduce you to it? It should keep you busy.
Can't remember the name, huh? A senior moment, perhaps.
Dubbed as Pacenta, meaning Black Robe, this is one of the bodyguards seen with Ramon throughout scenes of the castle section. Let me tell you, the Pacenta fight is total ass and makes Verdugo seem like a picnic, but that's a problem for Ada. Some more lore deeper into the room, this time straight from Ramon's mouth. He's gone full Los Iluminados gang in this confession, as he outlines his hate for Gregorio, the founder, given that he led the crusade against the Los Iluminados hundreds of years ago. I'm not sure Sadler had any dominant plagas inside Ramon at this point, so he really did take advantage of his young, cruel, naive nature. As expected, there's a few paintings of the Salazar family in here. I assume this is Catalina and Diego, Ramon's parents. And thus it's symbolic that their paintings are on full display in the front, while Ramon's tiny portrait is to the side. Just in time to get defaced by this convenient chicken egg. Nice.
That should do it.
Speaking of eggs, handy golden egg behind this cute puzzle, so if you end up selling the one from Chicken Island, no worries.
I'll be taking this.
Another memo, but this time from the housekeeper. Nothing much here except that she's apparently excited, right, for the start of what would be a 6-month procedure of hell. Curious that this is the second volume though, so where's the first? Finally get a clear look at the Salazar insignia, with the Latin Mors Vobiscum, which means roughly death be with you. Seeing how the Salazar legacy was built entirely on religious crusades and persecutions, I deem this appropriate. Little bit of fan service didn't hurt anyone. I sometimes miss the text descriptions from RE4 original. With that done, off to the clock tower.
There's the clock tower. Hang in there, Ashley.
This is a huge ass building in Castle Salazar, maybe even the largest. You can get a good look at the ballroom from here. Looks real nice, except for, you know, the Novi infestation.
You are nothing, if not unyielding, Mr. Kennedy.
Something tells me Ramon is getting fed up with Leon.
However, I'm afraid it ends here. Expel this intruder!
Shit.
Ramon may have been compensating with the construction of these giant flame-shooting statues. Luckily, they have some very convenient dynamite in the back, so big boom. This area has one of the few insta-kill mechanics in the game, that being the giant-ass boulders a few stories up.
You really know how to make someone feel welcome.
This was definitely one of those elaborate contraptions that Gregorio the Architect blew all the Salazar funds on back in the day. Capcom placed some enemies to take advantage of this and catch you off guard. Like this enemy, she always hides behind this corner and goes for a grab animation to keep you locked in place and get insta-killed by the boulder. Once you get to the top though, you can use the boulder to your advantage for some easy quick loot.
A lift. How thoughtful.
Up we go for a wave defense of hell.
You don't give up, do you?
I've heard mixed things about this from fans, but I actually love it. It's Ragdoll City for the enemies if you time your shots right. There's an achievement here to get to the top without a single enemy hitting the platform. More players have completed the story on Professional than this, so that tells you something. With the Lift of Death finished, let's admire the view. It may be Plagas infested, run down, and moody, but I wouldn't mind visiting here. You can even see the areas you were in, like the armory with the knights. Pretty sweet. Wait, are those crows? Surely just a coincidence, right? Time for either the hardest or second hardest boss in Leon's story. Hope you kept the golden egg because it makes this much more bearable.
And so, I have delivered the girl to you as promised. Do tell our Lord to not forget the loyalty of his servant, Ramon.
I love how Krauser cannot be arsed with Ramon's yapping. He's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna leave now.
Ashley!
Leon!
Such a fool, Mr. Kennedy. To have been bestowed with Lord Sattler's...
You talk too much.
It failed!
You vulgar,
Utterly uncivilized! Mongrel!
Allow me to show you the power I've been granted by my master. The power of God. The stage is set for the final act.
So, time to fight Mr. Ramon. Now, this is very important. Equip the golden egg and throw it straight into Ramon's body. Anywhere else will do nothing, but if done correctly, you take away 70% of his health and stun him. Considering he's got 35,400 health, almost double that of the Verdugo, you'll be thankful.
Watch your language, my lord.
Now that he's done so, let's talk about the Plaga he mutated with, the Queen Plaga. Well, actually, we don't know if the Queen Plaga even exists in the remake, seeing how Capcom has more or less deleted it from the lore. In the original, the Queen Plaga was located in a castle tower, and unsurprisingly, breeded new Plagas there. A bit disappointing we didn't get more info on this. Still, they did a great job with the ancient chantry. This whole design is pretty cool. There's a platform bathed in the moonlight that was likely used for rituals in the past. As well, the concept art shows amber deposits lining the walls, and of course the pulsing black tendrils coming from below. We just mentioned that Capcom more or less retconned the Queen Plaga, but I wonder if there was a larger entity tied to Ramon down there? We'll never know.
Krauser. Where do you think you're taking her?
Krauser motorboating off of Ashley. I've tried to shoot him, but Leon's quick to holster his weapon whenever you try to aim. On Professional, they throw a couple more armaduros at you in this loading dock. Just a way to say fuck you, I guess, considering the extremely difficult boss fight we just completed. Ah, the first volume of the Housekeeper's Memo. This has a completely different tone than her second volume. She talks about how Ramon has more or less always been an evil little bastard, splashing sulfuric acid on a maid who called him Little Thumb at a young age. I don't know what Little Thumb means, by the way. I couldn't find anything on it. Apparently he committed worse acts as he became older, and eventually fell to the seduction of Sadler, who used him to unseal the Plagas from below Castle Salazar. Her last comment is about keeping her oath to Ramon, no matter the cost. It's creepy to think she may have been of her own mind before undertaking Isidro's experiment and becoming the placenta.
Perfect. Won't have to swim after all.
Jumping into the boat and we're done with the castle section. Beautiful environments, difficult enemies, lots of treasures. What's not to love? I do miss Lava Room from the original though, but I mean, it's no biggie.
Looking for something? You look like you've got something to say.
I have something to ask you. But I don't think I'll get a straight answer.
Leon's kind of a moody guy sometimes. He really wants to make whatever this is with Ada work. But look at that grin. She knows what she's doing.
Raccoon City. You know, after the incident, the world changed. You try to save one person, 100 others die. I guess I changed too.
You? Leon S. Kennedy. You haven't changed. You just think you have. We're here. Don't think too hard, handsome. See you later.
Story of my life.
Good advice, Leon. Less thinking, more rescuing. Specifically on this island. The same island that Hipólito banished the remnants of the Los Iluminados to during his reign. Gregorio the Conqueror would be very displeased with this. Our first glimpse is this quasi-refinery fortress type of deal. I guess they're pumping oil to power the place or something?
Ashley. There you are.
Enemy difficulty skyrockets at the island. Automated turrets, spotlights, shock lances. I mean, this place is a fortress, so it makes sense, but it definitely makes the previous mobs look like cake. But first, lore time. We find this gravestone. The date is in Roman numerals dating to 1741. Written by Hester Sadler, they describe the exile of the Los Iluminados as we mentioned during Hipólito's reign, and how they plan on settling down here for their long-planned revenge. Hipólito was stupid. Seriously, if he expunged the threat, then this never would have happened. Still, pretty sweet piece of information.
I have something I think you like.
Mr. Merchant is selling some new goods, like the Killer 7.
Honestly, this might be the only gun you need.
This may be the perfect weapon. Side-mounted laser sight, all stainless steel, not much recoil compared to the broken butterfly, and an exclusive upgrade that leans into additional critical hit damage. So good. All kitted up, we're ready for combat. You can try and do this section stealth, but I find it's easier to take advantage of the laser turrets to save ammo.
Damn it.
Ah, the crossbow boot. Yes, that is actually a crossbow, not a submachine gun. Do you really think Leon would be able to deflect bullets with his knife? Well, okay, so maybe, but not in this case. To be fair, our friend did replace the Gatling Man from RE4 Original, so I guess Capcom wanted to take a less shoot-'em-up approach to enemies on the island. I do miss JJ's eye patch though. That man had style. If he gets you in a corner, shoot his crossbow machine and you'll put him in a few seconds stun. Unless of course he kicks you. Shotgunning enemies into the laser will never cease to be awesome. We can actually use this technique to skip an area later in the game. At this point, almost all enemies are going to be Plagas Mandibula or straight up Plaga Alanya. The island doesn't fuck around. Working our way through the compound, it's crazy to consider that this island was a bunch of outcasts in 1741, and now it's got cranes, refineries, and a well-armed militia of Los Iluminados goons. Iron shields and helmets have made the Punisher somewhat worthless. Days of the Punisher being OP are long over.
A rocket launcher?
Lest we forget the rocket launcher. Funny how they don't have pistols, but a giant RPG? Sure, no problem. Look at the polygons on that thing. Entire aesthetic of this cliffs area kind of reminds me of Skull Island from King Kong. RE4 and King Kong came out the same year, so I always found that kind of funny.
2 magazines on backup. 2 magazines on backup. 2 magazines on backup.
This where they keep an Ashley?
We're inside the compound now, which means tripwires galore. Did anyone consider how dangerous it is to have these in high traffic walking zones? I'm shocked that none of the soldiers have stumbled over one of these. There's something neat about retro tech and modern day media. Capcom did a nice job with the fat back monitors and grainy security cameras.
Ashley! Ashley! Come on, Ashley, wake up!
Shit! Hang in there.
Surely the path to her will be easy and relaxing. This gas mask guy tanked a fully upgraded bolt action shot with the exclusive upgrade to the face and said, nah, I'm good. What the hell kind of basic mob is that? Guess no one taught the soldiers about proper cable management, as if the clump under my desk is much better.
Need a key card.
Gotta find a key card, which means a trip to the spooky lab. Just saying this now, but we're gonna pay for not taking the Stingray earlier. I think this is the creepiest area in the game, by a long shot. The only thing you can hear are Leon's footsteps, over-the-top music wailing, and this slight, very slight, breathy sound. There is plenty of missable loot though. Break open these glass cabinets if you're running low on supplies. Have to complete this puzzle before moving on. It's pretty obvious I'm not great at puzzles to begin with. These are no different, but I still find them genuinely fun, unlike the Lago puzzle. Lots of wholesome goodies in this dissection room. Skull x-rays, a Plagas making love to this cadaver, and this lore piece regarding a new type of Plaga, the Regenerator. Likely the most well-known and well-loved Plaga type in RE4. This journal from the researcher who created them talks about how each Regenerator is a hive of Plagas parasites formed into one body. They all act as individual organs, so unless someone were to use a biosensor scope and dispose of each Plagas, they just keep coming back. What could go wrong?
Sounds more like an alien invasion if you ask me.
Well, his colleague thought about the danger at least. The use of pretentious makes me think of Luis a bit, so could he have been the person they're talking about? Either way, the final entry says the subject escaped containment. So shocking. We got our keycard and oh look, Regenerator.
Fuck are you?
Technically, we could kill this guy, but it's not easy without the scope. The Regenerators have little parasites, as mentioned, and you can't shoot them and try your best. A quick sprint to the freezer where the keycard device is allows us some reprieve because of a fresh grid puzzle. Again, difficult, especially on professional. But inside we find a high-class weapon, the LE5. Like the TMP, I've looked down on submachine guns in the past, but when upgraded, this guy can shoot out a flurry of bullets and suppress big crowds of enemies. This makes it great for stunning and ammo conservation. You can also throw a scope on it if you were feeling adventurous. Though I can clearly see there's a firing mode on the side, but to my knowledge, this can only be used as an automatic. Even the merchant has nice things to say about it.
Fast, powerful, reliable, can even be fitted with a scope. What else could you want, am I right?
Okay, keycard goes in, Regenerator comes out. There used to be a glitch by using the hunting rifle. You could de-aggro the Regenerator by clipping into the wall, but I couldn't make it work this time around. It's a mad dash to the safe area. The eeriest part about Regenerators for me is that breathy psycho sound they make when in close proximity. I really hate it. The AI in RE4 is generally pretty good, but there's a few dead zones where the mobs act a bit off. Poor welder man. Now entering what I like to call the tube room. 4 Regenerators chilling in their cryopods, so be careful. An absolute horde of loot in the glass shelves though, so there's some good news at least. You know, it says a lot that all 4 tubes are full, even when one escaped the cryo tank in the researcher's memo. So they lost control of Regenerator and decided that nah, it's fine, let's continue to make some more. Actually, this case study goes into more detail on just that. There was a power outage, releasing one of the Regenerators who went on to kill 7 and wound 19. There was a missing body and wrench, so put aside the wrench for a second. One of these demons ate someone in one bite, like a fucking anaconda.
That's a mouthful.
Upper management doesn't care much because, here's a little spoiler, the power is still faulty. Now, though, we got the biosensor scope. We only have to kill one of the Regenerators, the one who ate a wrench. But considering they're standing still, we might as well deal with all 4. Line up your shot for a collateral and relax. If you miss and it starts dolphin diving, then it becomes so much more annoying. Mr. Wrench does his job, and oh look, a horde of soldiers carrying dynamite. Surely the tubes holding the Regenerators are explosive proof, right? Good thing we killed them while it was calm. Level 3 keycard obtained. I will say one thing, the Los Iluminados have a lot of flaws, but they're dedicated to inserting their logo into just about everything. Inject Ashley with the suppressant and we've got our escort back.
Ashley. Shit.
Good thing the suppressant doesn't need to be refrigerated.
You're gonna be okay.
Alright, it's first chapter of the island done so. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but the Resident Evil community usually rates the island as the worst zone. For me, I think it's pretty good. Plenty of new enemies, eerie environments, it's all gravy.
Leon?
Sorry I'm late.
No. Thank you. You brought the medicine just in time. Where's Luis?
He was worried about you. Until the end. Come on. We don't have much time. Let's get rid of these things.
For Luis.
Goddamn right for Luis. I mean, he did work for Umbrella, so not a saint, but come on now.
Ada, come in. There's a lab where we can remove the parasites. Had a crazy hunch that you'd know where it is.
Their most important facilities are housed in their sanctuary at the top of the mountain. That's where I'd look.
Huh. Ada the encyclopedia.
Happy to help. Now you owe me.
Who are you on the phone with, Leon? No one. Ada gives us that helpful information, but also this irradiation report from Luis. It's a report of Luis testing his radiation therapy on an unknown patient with a plagas inside them. The patient died during the extreme pain of the procedure, but so did the plagas. Obviously, the device needs a little fine-tuning. Next to the log, there's a new type of treasure, the crystal ore. Pretty confident this is the raw form of the velvet blue. It looks so pretty. Also, a random-ass black bass in this locker? Or maybe not so random. We know that the black bass are able to survive the waterways of Valdalobos, but other fish can't. So maybe they're chemically engineered? Why else would it be in a research lab? One last bit of lore. A captive researcher's note. Sounds like the researchers working for Sadler were imprisoned without any notice. And there's mention of a researcher named Annabelle. The note points out that those infected with the plagas became mindless, which is good for control, but also bad because they're incapable of completing complex tasks. But the researchers developed a new strain of the plaga that keeps the same control but doesn't alter cognitive function. Understandable that they want to give this strain to Ashley because if she goes back to the US of A, all drugged up and mindless, that's kind of a bad look.
I'm never turning into one of them. Never.
Got that right. We'll find a cure.
They call it the superior species, and no shock, Sadler wants to inject the researchers with it so they can keep working like eggheads under his thumb. It's very possible that this was written by Luis, because we know he was a top-tier researcher, and obviously carried a ton of grief when he was still with us.
Why are you helping us?
Because it makes me feel better. Let's leave it at that.
If you think about those infected with the superior plaga, at this point of the story, we'd hypothesize it to be Mendez, Ramon, the Verdugo and Pesanta, Ashley, Leon, and obviously some of these researchers. But it goes a little deeper than that. There's more to the plagas hierarchy than we think.
Could you give me a boost?
You got it?
Duh.
Ashley's feeling pretty good about herself. A far cry from the scared girl in Chapter 5. That's good, because the next few areas aren't exactly relaxing.
I'm pretty much a master of unlocking. Be careful.
There's this cramped foundry where every enemy seems to have either a shield or head armor. Don't forget the throwing axe spam. When you finally get through the slog, Ashley has to hold down a lever.
Ashley.
Hang on.
She's guaranteed to be captured, but the guard can't make up his mind on where he wants to go.
Leon! No! No!
You alright?
Yeah, I'm fine.
We'll also be facing an advanced form of the Plaga Alania. These guys are coated in red and jump out at enemies after they've died. It's possible that some of these enemies, seeing how we're so close to Sadler's sanctuary, could be high-ranking enough to have the superior Plagas in them.
Smells pretty bad. You okay?
Yeah. Before this would have killed me, though.
This whole section is skippable during an old speedrun using the hunting rifle and glitching through the earlier gates, but where's the fun in that? What a strange place for a locker. There aren't any enemies here, right? Oh, just a regenerator. That's alright. Or not really.
What the fuck?
Introducing the Iron Maiden.
You stubborn son of a bitch.
After Regenerator has their plagas expelled, they somehow find a new form and turn into this cuddly spike monster, which uses ranged attacks whenever Leon shoots his gun. Fantastic. Unlike their former self, Iron Maidens don't have any eyeballs, and instead it's just this maw of red death. As well, it appears that their whole body is bulging, as if the parasites that were once localized have become the entire host figure itself. Their only weak spot is the head, and they're not staggered easily. Fortunately, my leveled up bolt action did the trick.
Jesus, cuddly bastard.
Last minigame, and we've entered the glorious dumpster. You think the soldiers had to do this every day if they wanted to get in? Patrolling this area must have been horrible. This whole garbage disposal unit seems pretty peaceful except for a few rats scurrying about.
And killing a few rats along the way.
You do not want to have to backtrack through here, so take some shots for the upcoming merchant request. In the garbage pit, there's one of those claw machines. Please tell me Capcom didn't take that from us. With Ashley holding the bridge up, we make our way around, and who would have guessed? A swarm of soldiers rush her. Don't let them get too far, or this becomes a much worse situation.
Ashley, damn it!
After all, we've got another Iron Maiden to deal with. Technically, you can run away and let Ashley pull a sick drawbridge move on it.
How do you like this?
Thanks.
You're welcome.
But then you'd miss out on the red barrel. You haven't experienced fear until seeing this pair of eyes stare at you in the darkness. One more agonizing grid puzzle and we're home free of this area. It was goofy, but I missed the Ashley truck segment from RE4 Original. We don't even get a falling on your butt cutscene in this one.
No way, Leon.
Way?
Are you out of your mind?
I knew you'd be fine if you landed on your butt.
Walking outside, I feel there's a missed opportunity to fight on that giant crane/bridge. Seems like the perfect place for a one-on-one showdown.
A wrecking ball.
I got this.
Hey. You're serious?
You know, I'm happy for Ashley. She gets to vent her frustrations with heavy machinery.
Is this what they teach kids in school these days?
Have you never heard of driver's ed? Leon!
Leave our friends to me.
This room isn't too bad. It's just a fuck ton of enemies. The most dangerous thing is actually swinging that ball around, because if she staggers you and an RPG gets a shot off, no thank you, sir. A few dozen spider plagas come crawling out halfway through, which is slightly annoying if you don't have a flashbang, but again, no biggie.
Did you see me? That was awesome!
I think you might have found your calling.
Almost finished with this long chapter. Just gotta circle back to the tube room and kill our last strong threats. I like to think this specific Generador is the one referenced in the journal that killed all those people. This friendly guy's got 9 plagas or so inside him. No Iron Maiden transformation, surprisingly enough. If you don't have the ammo with the biosensor scope weapon, then this is sort of impossible, which is why I think it's the toughest super enemy of the 3 by far. Now that we're done with those enemies, I do think Capcom got a bit lazy with their designs, as they're in essence just repaints of other enemies. Maybe if they added a few unique combat moves or gameplay mechanics, then that would have been nice.
You know, I was thinking, we work well together, don't we?
I guess so.
Right? Maybe someday I'll become an agent like you. What do you think? We could protect the US from any and all threats.
Is that right? Well, either way, first we have to make it out of here.
You're no fun.
Ashley gives her a naive monologue and we're on our way. Leon's cold nature to her makes sense. He doesn't want to get attached after losing so much in Raccoon City, especially considering they haven't really got out yet. At last, the Amber storage room. More lore in here. One of the notes refers to using extreme caution and care when transporting the Amber. Maybe if the plaga is disturbed, then it's less controllable. This could also be purely for religious hocus pocus reasons. Either way, this ties into the broader theme that Sadler and the Los Iluminados don't fully grasp the biology of what they've unearthed.
This must be what Luis was talking about.
Same pieces of amber we saw in the mine with Luis. Deeper in the room, we find a report that sheds more light on the superior species of the plaga. Written by Annabel Garcia Escudero, the head researcher. Talks about the success of mass-producing the superior strain of the plaga. Obviously, Annabel did succumb to Sadler's objective to inject her with the plagas from the journal in the last chapter. She describes the flexibility of the plaga, being able to infect any type of organism. See how she mentions crow? My crackpot hypothesis isn't so crazy anymore. For one, do crows have red eyes? No. They have blue eyes, and then black eyes. And yet, as we can see, these crows have red eyes. Sadler is using them as eyes of Odin, I'm sure of it. Anyway, back to the report. Annabelle will go on to infect all the head researchers, Luis included, based on the fact he had to operate on himself. So Sadler's holding an immense amount of power currently. Difficult to say, but I think based on Luis's reaction in Chapter 1 to Leon being injected, he's seen this before. Likely with Annabelle. Another major reason for his desire to help us. Time for our first in-person visit with the man himself.
Prostrate yourself. This is our holy body. Our divine providence ensued. Such profound blessing for all. Los Plaga. Welcome, my children. I am Osman Sadler.
We don't know much about the white-clothed people with Sadler, but I suspect these may have been the researchers themselves. Because you have to think about it, why haven't we seen any of their bodies, or fought them as enemies for that matter? Also, I love the design of Sadler's staff. At first I thought the Plagas was intertwined with the staff itself, but you can see tendrils coming from Sadler's cloak, so maybe it's just symbolic.
The speaker for our Lord.
Tell someone who gives a shit.
Foolish lambs. Why do you deny grace? Now, abandon your body. Obey. Obey the voice of our Lord. Pray forgive these wicked sinners. My faithful disciples shall deliver to you your penance. Now, child, you need not be afraid. Submit your body and release yourself from fear.
Sadler, you bastard.
Why was Sadler trying to get Leon killed in the first place? He's infected with the Plagas and it's almost fully grown, so was this just to destroy Ashley's mental state? This chapter is still going on, might be the longest in the game. We've got a few more areas to go through though, so let's continue. There's a note in a nearby radio station. From the lips of Jack Krauser, Luis's murderer. He goes into detail about bolstering the island's defenses, but makes note these won't last long against an actual threat like the US government. Makes sense, because they could just nuke the place if they ever got whiff of it. Into the makeshift army tent we go for some context on why Krauser is so Krauser. To start, a redacted case file pertaining to Operation Javier. We've heard Leon bring it up before, but now the specifics. In South America, a crack team of the best US Special Forces had to offer were sent to annihilate the drug cartels. This was a long operation as it took years to even prepare. The outcome of the mission is unknown, but all members of the unit were wiped out except for Krauser, who learned that the US were responsible for the attack. Lots of speculation in this report as to the reason. Power struggle, conflicting orders, etc. What matters is the American government massacred their own forces and tried to cover it up. The reporter who investigated this planned on releasing it to the public, but poof, they disappeared. Now, for big Resident Evil aficionados. You may think of a different story regarding Operation Javier, one from the Wii game Resident Evil The Dark Side Chronicles. I didn't even know about this game. The short form is that Leon and Krauser were sent to the Amazon to eradicate a group of hostiles holding a variant of the T-virus. The ending was completely different, so I'm not sure if this is Capcom's way of retconning the incident or what. Next to the file, there's 24 dog tags on the counter. Safe to assume Krauser lost 24 comrades that day. If you look closely, the dog tag engravings are in well, I don't actually know what language that is. It kind of looks like gibberish to me. Another file. For whatever reason, Krauser is keeping a copy of Ashley's abduction. It reads as if a member of Ashley's Secret Service was infiltrated by the Los Iluminados, a guy named Baker. After campus classes, they stopped the vehicle, took Ashley into a different unmarked vehicle, towards a marine port where she'd be shipped off to Spain in a cargo container. Not exactly the coziest form of travel. I think the real question is if this Baker guy had a superior Plagas in him, or maybe the Los Iluminados blackmailed him. I feel it has to be the latter because if they did infect him, then doesn't that sort of invalidate the whole abduction scheme? I mean, why do you need Ashley if Sadler presumably infected someone in her service? Either way, it's food for thought. Moving on to our last lore piece, this tape recorder.
You've done well to make it this far, rookie. I've prepared a battlefield up ahead just for us soldiers. watered by the blood of generations, hundreds of years. It's the perfect place to put an end to what happened 2 years ago.
Classic edgy Krauser. Isn't he sweet recording that for us? He is kind of obsessed with Leon, stealing Polaroids of him from his Raccoon City days and writing on them. Kinda teeters on stalker behavior. Not sure whose blood this belongs to. Could be just about anyone knowing Krauser. Well, excluding those crows, more of them.
I've been waiting for you, rookie. Oh, worried about the girl, is that it? That's just like you. You always had poor judgment. But if you think I'm gonna let you out of here alive, you're even more naive than I thought. You can't save her. You can't save anyone.
Krauser is such a typical over-the-top villain, and I honestly love it. He's taunting Leon like a little kid, just, you know, an extremely lethal, bloodthirsty kid.
Give it up, Krauser. Being a lackey for these maniacs won't bring your men back. And what the hell for? Revenge on the government? You think they would want that?
Revenge. You think I'm doing all this for revenge?
Isn't that what this is all about?
See, in that jungle, I had a revelation. The most important thing in this world is pure, unadulterated power.
Revenge does seem pretty boring. Now power? That's cool. Here we learn that Krauser joined up with Sadler purely as a way to cope with the loss of control he had during Operation Javier. The man simply couldn't accept his loss.
Los Iluminados have given me that.
You know you were always an asshole. But at least you had some kind of code. Some honor. And look at you now.
Enough reminiscing. Move out and draw fire, soldier! Better run, rookie!
For all his bark, this phase of Krauser is pretty simple. Usually a headshot does the trick before he scampers off like a scaredy cat. Time to go through the obstacle course of hell.
We barely made it out alive.
Go with your gut, don't think. That was the first thing you taught me.
While Krauser is yapping and taunting, we've got to dodge explosive crossbows, sentry guns, tripwires, and good old-fashioned bear traps. At the very least, the voice lines between these two are absolutely perfect.
I'm no stranger to covert tactics, remember?
How can I forget? Shit.
I love a good hunt. Still alive, huh? You got lucky. I admit, you've done well to stay alive this long.
I'd be dead if I kept listening to people like you. Well, you've really gone all out for me. You shouldn't have.
Anything to make the pretty boy feel special.
If it weren't apparent, I suck ass at this stretch on the bridge. The smoke from his crossbow explosion makes it near impossible to see through the biosensor scope. The silver lining is we get to listen to one of the best tracks in the official score.
Doing this? It's not too late.
You and me are two sides of the same coin. Guess that means we'll never see eye to eye.
Using the tripwires to your advantage is so satisfying.
Are we done here, Krauser?
I told you. Again and again. You're too soft to do what's necessary. That's the difference between you and me, rookie.
Krauser's design kind of reminds me of Alex Mercer from the first Prototype game.
Time to finish your training.
Witness the power!
You've lost it completely, Krauser.
That might be the hardest parry in the game, only to be rivaled by the stun rod or pitchfork.
You're not getting away! I can't wait to see you ride!
Up the ladder we go to this mini coliseum. I've been hoarding magnum bullets in my Killer 7, so this should do nicely.
Oh, shit! Training's not done. Last lesson starts right now.
Nah. Time for the teacher to be taught.
Oh, such confidence. Bring it, rookie!
Are you ready, rookie?
There's some excellent dialogue between Leon and Krauser in this fight.
I'm not surprised you made it this far. How long do you plan to fight in that primitive body?
Until the mission's finished. You'd have said the same once.
You need to stop living in the past!
The Krauser I knew is dead and gone.
My affection unbreakable!
But if you get him into a stun lock like I've done, then it's a pretty quick fight. Sorry, Krauser. Killer 7 is a bit too overpowered.
Do what you have to do. That's right. Veterans will. Leon.
That you did, Major.
Yeah, you did.
With that, we receive the fighting knife. Such a sexy blade. It's the highest damage knife when leveled up, doubly so if you obtain the ×2 damage exclusive ticket. Durability is so-so, but that's inconsequential if you take it into New Game Plus. I will say that Krauser did some horrible things, some completely unforgivable, but I do pity him for what happened in South America and how his grief overtook him. Even his last words, calling Leon by his real name rather than Rookie, is kind of emotional.
Veterans will. Leon.
Rest easy, Major. On a lore note, Krauser was bestowed a new type of Plaga that rivals even the superior Plaga, the Dominance Plaga. This would put him above others like Mendez and Ramon, but still below Sadler, who reigns as the top dog. Hopefully no one does anything with his body. I don't have a repetitive word salad for that one. Just, well done. Well done. On to chapter 15, nearing the end. Random thought, but who put up the drawbridge right as we killed Krauser? Were there any crows in the vicinity? We get a sneak peek through the binoculars on what I think is the most difficult room in the game.
Their defenses are no joke.
Not by much when compared to Waterroom, but it can be an absolute slog. But more importantly, got some more exterior design. There's that purple again we talked about. Sadler's designer has a certain taste. Pretty cool we can see the crossbow bridge from up here. More games need to blend levels like this without it being explicitly open world.
What was that?
Sorry, bad traffic. One combat chopper compliments the Hunnigan. Call me Mike, and I'd show these assholes what we got.
Hunnigan, I owe you one.
Hunnigan came through. Thanks, Mr. Mike. Let him take out most of the soldiers so you can stockpile ammo. It'll be much needed later. Honestly, the helicopter scenes are so fucking sick. Just let me wax about them for a second, okay? Mike deserves some praise too. This is the first real-time assistance we've received, except if you count Luis. He's that much of a Chad.
What can I say? I never miss.
Not bad at all.
The next few areas remind me more of World War Z than anything we've encountered so far. Speaking of zombies, Leon's player model isn't looking too hot. Those Plagas veins are mighty prominent right about now. We gotta take out this AA gun for Mike. Normally you take this awful route through a tunnel that wraps around with machine guns and RPGs up your ass, just so you can destroy the AA gun with a turret. But if you have a heavy grenade or two...
Mike! All clear! Thanks, buddy! Alright, now watch me do my thing!
The soundtrack reminds me of Fantasia. It's got that wonderful mix of anxiety and adrenaline.
Open! Don't get round! Bad news! I'm out of ammo! Y'all bandwidths were on your own! Don't worry! You got this! Bet you won't even break a sweat!
Oh, this room. Many a speedrun were lost in this clusterfuck of explosions and bullet swarms. This was a speedrun killer for me more than once. There's just so many enemies that continuously spawn. Luckily, we get to use the heavy machine guns ourselves.
Get in! Thanks! When we get out of here, drinks are on me! I know a good bar. Yeah, keep your head down. Nice and slow. What? Damn it!
No.
Ah, thanks Capcom for being a dick. I didn't want Mike to survive. Frickin' Sadler, man. That fadeaway was pretty sick though, I'll give him that.
I'll make sure you're the next to go, Sadler.
Finally, some peace and quiet. There's plenty of collectibles around here. Also, this building we're supposed to enter looks slightly out of place, almost like an old church. I imagine this was one of the first buildings that Los Iluminados constructed after being exiled to this island. Again, they're dedicated with the Plaga insignia. Not even the weather vane was safe. Taking a trip down this spooky tunnel, we find a new unique treasure, the Staff of Royalty. Not much to say about this. Looks like it's got an Illuminados pendant in the top. Still doesn't sell for more than the gold monocle. Verdugo's supremacy continues. To the side, there's a grave. The date, 1827. Keenan Sadler's epitaph. So this was 86 years after Hester Sadler's death, maybe making him the father or grandfather of Osmond Sadler. I find it interesting the phrase he uses, bones of our brethren rest in all nations. Is this to say that there are Los Iluminados sleeper cells across the globe? Or is it kind of more everyone, everywhere will feel the Plagas love eventually, whether they want it or not? Inside the church, we find a makeshift cold storage area.
What the?
You thought we were done with the Regenerators? That's cute. This is the first time we can see them inside their boxing bag thingy-majigs. No Plagas are visible to shoot though. Does this mean the Plagas are asleep when they're under a certain temperature or knocked out? I like how each bag has dried blood splattered all over it. Guess they couldn't be bothered cleaning it after the 3rd or 4th incident. Got a note a few steps later, detailing the transfer of these Regenerators from Facility 1, where Ashley was held prisoner a couple chapters ago. Unsurprisingly, another Regenerator got loose and killed some people. But hey, casualties were less than anticipated, so it's all good. As well, they're apparently acclimatizing to lower temperatures. So, the Plagas have incredible evolutionary abilities. But sure, we can control them, no problem. Now entering specimen storage. What's better than one sleeping Regenerator? Try 2 of them. We've got to be very quiet going through here not to wake our friends, but at the same time quick enough to get through the door that falls as soon as we stop turning this wheel. Who the hell thought this was a good idea when they built this place? Of course, I failed spectacularly, and both Regenerators turned into Iron Maidens. Color me shocked. At least we got, a ruby. Great. I'm convinced this shit reward is Capcom's way of saying, you're a bad player.
Stranger, I heard you took care of that last request. On behalf of my compatriots, I thank you, friend.
Thanks for the kind words, Mr. Merchant. So, if you complete every request, then that voice line pops up. Which also tells us that the merchant is sort of a middleman for different contexts in Valdelobos and beyond. Makes sense.
Almost there. Ashley, I'm coming.
Sanctuary approach. Might as well change the genre of this game to a bullet hell for this room. Novistadors, RPG soldiers, crossbow brutes. It's got it all. Well, no Regenerators, but still. Don't even think about rushing ahead because of the laser turrets. Unless you're clever enough to know the old Novistador shotgun burst skip. It's actually not that difficult to complete, so give it a try if Capcom hasn't patched it by now. With that horde dealt with, we're almost in the clear, having finally entered the Sanctuary. A statue with the engraving I, Adam, greets us upon entry. Pretty sure this means Adam Sadler, the first prophet and official founder of the Los Iluminados. I doubt Capcom was even thinking about this, but Adam Sadler. Isn't that a bit similar to Mr. Gilmore?
Ashley!
You have come, my child.
What do you want?
I simply wish to share this gift with as many as possible. When you need only accept the sacred gift. Like she did.
Sadler!
Ah, yes, the time has come for this lamb to join our covenant. Oh, blessings unto him and the sweet mercy they bring. Exalt all, and let it be so.
Leon! Go!
Guess we owe Ada one for saving our ass, again. She's been extremely helpful in Leon's story. Maybe some payback for the quasi-betrayals she put Leon through in Raccoon City.
Ashley. Damn it.
One last push until Luis's lab, which is located in a kind of weird place. Past the storage area and right next to the sanctuary. Sadler probably wanted to keep a close eye on him.
Laboratory B. Looks like it's this way.
Still you resist, child.
I don't think Sadler is talking to Leon in real time because in separate ways, he should be kind of occupied right now.
This time, it has to be different.
You go first.
No way. Like I told you, I'm gonna get you home safe. was nothing.
You did good, Leon. You did good. The penultimate chapter is complete. We've lost so many. Our totally not useless police friends, suave Don Quixote Luis, redeemed Krauser, Giga Chad Mike, sorta Hunnigan, seeing how she's gone completely AWOL on us. Time to finish this.
Ashley. Ashley.
I'm right here. I thought you were gonna die.
Okay. You did this.
Yeah. Yeah, I did this. Can you stand?
The map?
Yeah, I found it. I think it says we can get out if we go this way.
The map Ashley hands us was likely written by Luis. Who else would say, when things go to shit?
Hey, we're a team, right?
Keep this up, I'll be out of a job.
So all of this, removing the parasites, this was Luis.
Yeah, we're alive. Thanks to him. I'm surprised this thing even booted up.
There's some old ass tech in here, and I mean old for 2004. Sadler probably wouldn't buy into the more you spend, the more you save initiative. Plenty of incredible valuable lore in Luis's lab, let's get to it. And if for some reason you need confirmation that Luis worked here, look no further than his favorite brand of cigs. This man is the poster child for Tradition.
Say, you got a smoke?
Our first lore piece, a notebook reiterating what we know about plaga removal. If the egg hasn't hatched, then an injection does the trick, but once it grows larger and larger, we have to resort to the excruciating radiation therapy. Luis showed us a scar on his chest, so maybe he was about to lose his wits in turn, like Annabelle, but still didn't tinker with the radiation device enough so that he didn't have to cut himself open. It's hard to say. Next to the report, we have a nice wholesome photo of the umbrella team that Luis worked with. This is the same name we saw on Luis's lighter before he passed. Did that guy seriously open an umbrella indoors? No wonder this whole group is probably dead. I wonder if the girl next to Luis is Annabelle. Wouldn't be too huge a stretch. Another document, this time regarding Sadler. Sadler's animus, which means motivation, I believe. This goes into detail about the true value behind the plagas. Not to kill, but control. I love this line. Who needs spies when you can turn yesterday's enemy into today's ally? There's some good writing in this game. This may have been written by Luis or perhaps Annabelle before her infection. The plan's pretty straightforward though. Infect high-ranking members of the government in every superpower nation with superior species to control with the dominant plaga. The final page is a subtle comment on how Sadler and his family line have been taking advantage of this island's inhabitants for centuries. So that's kind of interesting. I guess there were people living here when the Los Iluminados were exiled during Hipólito's reign. The only indication we have of that are the ruins we fought Krauser in, and perhaps a building now used as the specimen storage area for the Regeneradors. It's hard to see, but there's a small scribble in the bottom right. It's a hierarchy sketch of the Plaga species: subordinada, superior, and dominante. This more or less confirms what we know about the 3 tiers of Plagas. Got a memo on this old computadora. The amber. Luis found this peculiarly shaped amber in the storage room next to his lab, which, when analyzed, shows that the Plaga inside contains an organ only seen in Sadler's own dominant Plaga. He speculates that this, when grown and fostered, may surpass Sadler's own power. Well, now we know what Krauser looted off Luis's dead body underground. I bet Sadler wasn't too happy to learn that there was a threat to his reign. Luis also refers to an outside group to entrust the amber with. Perhaps a woman in a red sweater? Nudge nudge? Stating the obvious, of course, but we've got some concrete emails that point to Ada and Luis working together for this very reason. It's intriguing that Ada reminds Luis to remember a code phrase. Maybe Ada wanted a redundancy in case Luis was infected with Superior Plaga, as we know that the host retains their wits when injected with that specific strain.
Someone had a field day looting the Umbrella Labs.
Unclear if Leon was referring to the labs from Raccoon City. Maybe someone from the Los Iluminados tried to gain some intel after hearing about the incident. Then again, the city got nuked, so they'd have to be pretty fast. We still don't know how Luis got stuck working with Sadler in the first place. He ran into hiding after the Raccoon City incident, fled to Valdilobos, and maybe was taken hostage or somehow persuaded by Sadler's rationale of world peace. I think it's more complicated than we think.
Sorry.
Like I said, we're a team. You sure you're okay?
Never been better.
Good.
Out of Luis's lab, we're back in the sanctuary.
Look at this place. That woman who helped us. You think she's alright?
Oh, I'm sure she's fine. She's not the type to roll over that easy.
Sounds like you know her well.
Sounds like Ashley is a little jealous. Got some tough competition there, girl. It sounds like I'm shilling for Capcom's design team, but again, this room has such an eerie feel to it. This chandelier made of antlers in the shape of the Plagas is amazing. I'd hate to be the one lighting those candles, though. We've also got the slab Ashley was laid on before Leon saved her. There are engravings on the side of men wearing togas, so this thing has got to be ancient. We can tell Ashley isn't the first sacrifice based on the dried up bloodstains. Even Osmond's got his own engraving, XV15. This must mean Sadler is the 15th prophet of the Los Iluminados. Just how old is this cult? More writings from founder Adam. These prophets tend to have giant messiah complexes, huh? It's etched onto a pretty cool monolith, though. Nice Illuminados pendant at the bottom. The final gospel of the Illuminados. This is the end goal for the cult, ensuring that every organism on the planet is infected with the holy body. The use of he as a pronoun is curious. Is the holy body considered male, or would this be in reference to Osmond, the current prophet? I'm thinking the former because we know Hester Sadler was female. Creepy paganism aside, I'm slightly curious to see what kind of innovations the world would come up with if it were all united under a single ideology with zero resistance. It's possible that Luis and the researchers told themselves a similar thing when they were helping the Los Iluminados in the first place. One final merchant shop. This is a popular RPG purchasing spot because the upcoming final boss is definitely on the tricky side. I'm gonna go at it normally though.
Might want to take care of any leftover errands before going this way. Be ashamed to live the rest of your life wondering, what if?
Leon, look! Is that...
And now it's our turn to save Ada.
Ada! Stay here. I won't be long.
Okay.
Ada! Sadler!
Holy body. The bright gift to become one with us. You require absolution. Such blasphemous desecration, such unforgivable heresy.
So, tough fight. Sadler's got 23,000 HP, which is close to the Verdugo, and funny enough, far less than Ramon, though his attacks are much more damaging and hard to dodge from my experience. As well, there's 5 weak points on our pointy-legged friend. Shoot them in quick succession and you'll ensure a fast stagger. Easier said than done though. You do get a satisfying animation if you're feeling brave with the knife though. A few ridiculously damaging black goo attacks later, and Sadler begins screeching on the platform. This is where it gets even more fun, as the swarm of Novis start harassing Leon with their long-ranged punch attacks. Pack a few flashbangs in your kit and you should be okay though.
Finally, a look that suits you, Sadler. A monster in and out. Still, I need to cut this date short. It's not me. It's you.
Sadler's second form, his true self, is a cakewalk in comparison. Quick dodge here and there before Ada swoops in with the Giga rocket launcher.
I'll give you a holy body.
The whole second phase of Sadler is a big improvement from RE4 Original. No shade or anything, but OG Sadler just kinda flops to the ground. Feel like there was a lost opportunity to pick up Sadler's Broken Staff as a New Game Plus treasure. Probably worth a pretty penny.
Ada, what the hell are you doing?
Nothing personal, Leon. Luis and I had an arrangement. Don't worry, I'll take good care of it.
What exactly were you expecting, Leon? Ada's a professional, and in this case, she's got a particularly intense client.
Ride's here. You coming?
I think we both know this is where we go our separate ways.
Better get a move on.
Ada may seem cold in the remake, but at least she didn't blow up the island this time around.
If I were you, I'd get off this island too.
She really pushed it.
Cute.
Until next time, Leon.
Where's she going?
Who knows?
I don't understand. Why would she just...
Gotta move. Island's gonna blow.
It's gonna what?
Yeah. Okay, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
We get a minute 30 to escape the island on Professional.
We can go home.
We're not out of here yet.
They're not attacking. What's going on?
They're nothing now their master's gone. It's over for them.
All the Plagas start withering away, which makes me think that even though Sadler and Krauser both were dominant users, Sadler's Plaga must have been extra special because obviously, insta-destruction of the hive mind upon his death. I feel that the holy body we kept hearing about may have been the original dominant Plaga, seeing how Sadler seemed to address it as a separate entity. I have a feeling it was inside the giant piece of amber that we saw in chapter 14.
This is our holy body. Los Plaga.
Teddy bear key in, thrill ride out.
You like thrill rides?
I love them!
You're gonna love this!
The controls for the Sea-Doo aren't half bad, and it's a super fun change of pace for the last lap of the game. Get your 1,000 pesetas for every trick you pull off.
Hold on!
The countdown timer is a bit misleading because as you get closer to 0, it doesn't go down 1 second at a time, but slower. Kinda lame. Unlike this photo finish, which never gets old.
Mission accomplished, right?
Mission accomplished. When you're home safe.
Thank you for saving me.
Don't mention it.
You know, I could put in a word with my dad. Have you assigned to my detail, if you're interested.
You don't need me. You proved you could handle yourself. Even if you could use a lesson in knife safety. Come on. Let's go home.
Condor 1? Bruce to Condor 1, do you read me? Come in! I said come in! Is this thing even on? Leon! Leon, are you and Ashley alright? Where are you? Come on!
Sorry, Hunnigan, I know we've been ghosting you for 10 chapters, but Leon's arisen. The credits is a nice homage to village life before the Los Iluminados, and how it changed so vastly with their arrival.
I've obtained the amber.
Excellent.
Just one question. What are you planning to do with this?
I do not pay you to ask questions. All you need to know is a new dawn is breaking. 100 will give their lives so that just one may live. I am expediting that change.
So, we're talking millions of casualties.
Billions.
How ambitious. We're changing course, now.
Ada has a good heart. That's my headcanon, at least. No dominant species for you, Mr. Wesker. Spoiler, he finds it anyway. That's it, done and dusted. Now, what time is it? I gotta prepare for Friday at 10 p.m. After all, I take my bingo very seriously.